We've spent over 10 years on air, shaping a generation of action motorsports, and now we're changing the game again. The best motorsports, the best action sports, and the best of pop culture with some epic guests thrown in. I am Jim Beaver, and this is the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittney Cardone. Grab the popcorn. Welcome to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittney Cardone. This episode is one of my favorite of the year. It's one of Brittney's favorite of the year. We come to you live from the Sand Sports Show. And yes, I know, this isn't coming to you live, right? I'm in the studio telling you about the live show that we're about ready to get to. But let me just tell you, we've thrown down 2 years in a row with our friends at Pro Armor. Last year's was one of our most listened to episodes ever, and that is saying something. We come back, we do another show with Pro Armor this year, and I got to tell you, we went almost 4 hours in the booth on Saturday, the biggest day at Sand Sports, interviewing some of the biggest names in the UTV side-by-side and off-road industry. And this one did not disappoint. Shenanigans ensue. Yes, we were having a few beers, but let me tell you, if you're looking for long-form interviews, you're looking for a lot of talk, a lot of fun, my good friend Billy Slade said, you know what? Doing radio at Sand Sports with Jim and Britt is the equivalent of sitting around a campfire with headphones and microphones on out at camp with our UTVs. And that is saying something. So, yeah. This one, a big one. Format's going to be a little bit different. I am going to air this thing just like we did at Sand Sports. It's almost 4 hours long, and we're going to cut into these breaks. And let me tell you, the breaks didn't happen. We just started talking and talking. So about the first 20 minutes of the show, we cut out and do a break. And so we're going to have some commercial spots there. Then we come back. It's like 3 hours straight of audio content. I'm not chopping it up for you. We're all in this. I want you to listen to it the way that it was recorded at Sand Sports. So that being said, we do have like 2 commercial breaks this show, and we got to get the spots in for our amazing partners that allow us to bring content like this. So the commercial breaks might be a little bit longer today, but I just wanted to give the disclaimer why. Because you're going to get almost 4 hours nonstop, uncut audio interviews. It is awesome. You guys are going to enjoy it. Thanks for the continued support. Obviously, some of you listen at SiriusXM, Sports Byline, U.S. American Forces Network. Thank you. Want to ask, if you are an online listener, regardless of where you listen to, man, on the platform you're at, please subscribe, give a rating and a review, especially if you're an Apple Podcast listener. It means a ton, helps us in the rankings. And let me tell you, the last month of this show online, we had some amazing guests, some amazing shows, live from Crandon, Paul Thacker, our good friend Jim York. Those shows have gone crazy. We put up some of the biggest numbers we've had with this show in years, and I truly just want to thank all of you listeners for sticking around and for enjoying the new version of the General Tire Jim Beaver Show. Thank you, guys. And, yeah, we're going to cut to a short commercial break. Don't forget, there's only a couple commercial breaks in this one, like I think 1, 2, 3. They're going to be a hair longer than normal, like 3 to 4 minutes. But you're going to get almost 4 hours of uncut audio, and I think you're going to enjoy it. So we'll be back from the Pro Armor booth with the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittney Cardone right after this short commercial break. General Tire delivers for whatever life brings your way. General Tire's Grabber X3 all-season mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3. General Tire delivers. Check out GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, official tire of the Jim Beaver Show.
Conditions off the pavement are always changing, so why settle for a light bar that just turns on and off? The Rigid Adapt is a revolutionary new light bar that will automatically select from 8 beam patterns that range from a widespread 90-degree flood to a 15-degree spot based on your vehicle's speed. Try that with your knockoff light bar. A dash-mounted controller allows the user to toggle between adaptive mode, beam patterns, and RGBW accent lighting. With Adapt, it's easier than ever to own the night.
Don't just shred your way through any off-road rugged terrain. Get into gear with GSP XTV and let us redefine your adventure. The GSP advantage of quality and performance sets a standard for UTV axles. We strive to provide premium ATV and UTV axles to keep you shreddy ready. Kick up some dirt and get in the driver's seat with GSP XTV. With over 35 years of experience, drive with a company you can trust. Drive with GSP. For more information, please visit us at gspxtv.com today. Dig what you're hearing? Well, do us a favor. Head over to Apple Podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittney Cardone and catch all of our back episodes. Welcome to the General Tire Jake Versey Show with Brittney Cardone. We just learned that Jake is replacing me as we sit down here.
That's a long shot.
Yeah. Well, we're here at the Jim Beaver Show out of the Pro Armor booth at Sand Sports. Obviously, you know Brittney and I, but we do have Jake Versey sitting here. And Mr. In Demand, I hear you've got, like, obligations. That's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. This is a super cool show. There's everybody here, which is an awesome problem to have.
But problem, nonetheless, because you can't go 5 feet without having another conversation.
Exactly. But, no, it's awesome. It's all for the good, and we're stoked to be here.
Yeah, I feel like SEMA, anytime you want to walk somewhere, you have to pack in 30 minutes because there's so many people, you're just fighting through the crowd. Sand Sports, there's not quite as big a crowd, but you're fighting through conversations. And I mean that in a good way, but it's like you walk 10 feet, you talk to somebody, walk 10 feet, talk to somebody.
Yeah, everybody that you would be involved with is all definitely here, so.
Yeah.
I think Mint's about the only one that's that bad. Like when we're trying to get to a deal to have a show or something like that, we have to walk down the back sidewalk. Because if you walk down the main drag, we will never get there. I don't think I've ever actually walked like the entire tech at Mint.
We need the little Kawasaki electrode for the Mint just to go back and forth. The little,
just zoom.
They got a little e-bike.
Oh, yeah. That's why we go one wheel, so you can. It's more efficiently getting through.
But the problem is I drink too many Coca-Colas, and the one wheel wouldn't be a good thing.
No, definitely. Or it would be better. I don't know.
So what else is going on? I know we saw you back there at Crandon. You're pretty much bouncing back and forth all over the place.
Crandon.
Red Bull Scramble, like you travel as much as we do at this point. That's saying something.
Yeah, we've done an incredible amount of miles. Our Ultra 4 schedule is super busy. The Red Bull Scramble that we saw you guys at was a ton of fun. So we're just trying to maximize our exposure and where we're at, and obviously we have a love for racing. So it's brought us we got a win in Crandon. That was a bunch of fun. So we're all over. We've got, going down to Trail Hero, Camp Razor, so a bunch more events still to come.
Yeah, it's like events, obviously Sand Sports. We've got Off-Road Expo, like you said, Trail Hero, UTV Invasion, or not at UTV Invasion, UTV Takeover. Yep. Camp Razor. It's like boom, boom, boom,
SEMA,
boom.
That SEMA. Little one we forgot about.
Yeah, SEMA, yeah. Yeah, well, and then the Huevos reunion tour?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
How did you hear about that?
I saw some pictures
Wes Miller's got going on?
I know. It looks like a riot.
Well, it's like he got all the OG, freestyle quad guys together, and they're doing, an event for, I think it's a $10,000 purse or something. I'm like, when was the last time freestyle quads had $10K on the line?
Yeah, it was good. It was good timing because it took that long for them to all heal from their last injuries.
But now the arthritis is kicking in.
The geriatric huevos.
Oh, my God.
No,
so I could – there was so many directions I could go.
Right.
Things are a little saggy.
Nice.
Oh, that's why we love doing shows at Sand Sports. No, but what else is going on? Obviously, we got all that stuff going. You're, you obviously take the big win at Crandon. That's pretty awesome. That track was – those rocks look pretty, on the back section, what is it, Rigid Ridge, stuff like that. They look pretty gnarly.
They're huge, man. They're intimidating. So on video or watching them, even in person, when you get to see the in-cab of anybody's cars, it really, brings it to a whole new perspective. You can rip a corner off a car, in a second. So
we saw it.
Yeah.
A few times.
Yeah. No, I even came out with a flat tire as well myself, and, we have an awesome line through the rocks, but they can get anybody.
Well, that one to the left, where it was half highway.
Sure, yep.
I saw a few people taking that line, and I'm like, yeah, I see, that's a pretty good one. or the far right, where they were the size of your car.
Yeah. No, what really the equalizer, though, is when somebody's broken or, lap traffic or whatever in the line is when you see good racing come out because it gets pretty Western. I know the leader of that was getting ready to be passed by second place, and his car stood up on end. He almost wheelied it over in that rock section. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's – you're right, though. There's no perspective. You can't tell. We were right there watching it, and you really couldn't see. And I think a little bit of it, too, is because the rocks were so smooth.
Yeah.
So you go out to Hammers or somewhere and everything's all pointy and jagged, and they looked so smooth like you could just cobblestone right over
Yeah, I
them.
sure wish they drove like that.
So what's the next race on the calendar? I know you got a bunch of events and things like that.
Yeah, for me, it's King of the Hammers. I'm out of the points where we had an unfortunate crash at KOH. I totaled a race car. So I'm out of the points for Nationals, which is down in Oklahoma this year. So KOH, I've got 2 new race cars I'll have debuted at King of the Hammers, a Pro Mod, full kill Ultra 4 car, and then RS1 short course style Ultra 4 race car. So super pumped. That's what we're gearing up for. That's what all of our efforts are pushed toward, is getting 2 new cars ready for King of the Hammers.
So how are you going to decide which one you're racing there? Is it like how's that working out? Or you got somebody racing one of them while you race the other?
No, we're going to race just the Pro Mod car. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just the season kicks off so fast after King of the Hammers. You have to have everything in line ready to go.
There's a season?
yeah, all year, 12 months. Yeah. That's why I enjoy snowmobiling, and ever since I got into off-road racing, there's literally not time to go snowmobiling. And we live in Idaho, some of the greatest snowmobiling on Earth.
So you just get teased.
Yeah, but that's okay. I love the desert, love the warm weather, and the people in off-road are unbeatable.
Yeah, it's like her and I got a couple new dirt bikes, and they've got very, very light miles on them at this point. And it's like, literally, we've had them for 3 weeks and very light miles on them because it's just so much stuff going on. You know, it's like...
No,
it just makes me sad every time I walk into the garage. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the trick is to bring it to events and use it as a pit bike, and then at least you're still using it.
I don't think the 112 would quite be as quiet as your one-wheel around here.
Yeah, probably not.
Supercross two-stroke just...
I like it.
Awesome.
Nice.
So what else has been going on? I mean, we were talking at Crandon, I think, and it's like, Brittney and I, it's like, dude, last couple of years, your program, I mean, you've really been pushing to elevate your program. Seems like last couple of years, I mean, you made a big push, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, people, man, we know who Jake Versey is. Now it's like everybody knows who Jake Versey is.
Yeah, no, we're just, really, we just love the industry, love racing. Obviously, at this point, which is really exciting, I've made a career of professional racing, which is really a huge accomplishment that I'm proud of. And excited to bring everybody along with that. But making money racing is a long and stressful road with a lot of hurdles, but it's awesome. I wouldn't trade it for the world. And then additional to that, we're trying to do a bunch of lifestyle stuff. So we've got a Jeep, we've got a Polaris Ranger. We're building a new mini jet boat, which is really exciting. So we're just trying to make a push in all directions of, just motorsports in general, trying to have as much fun as we can, really.
He's cracked the code. We need your secret. Write a book or something so we can figure it out.
Spend every dollar that you get on your passion, and that's the secret.
Well, yeah, we got that part down, but it was the money-making side, right?
Yeah.
You're already a step ahead of
we have a lot of write-offs, but I can't say we're making money.
Sure. No, I'm fortunate enough to work with a ton of really awesome companies that support not only my program, but really support me, and that makes a huge difference. So I'm trying to be valuable to all of those guys, and it's a huge juggling act, but I'm beyond fortunate to work with the people that I do.
All right, so with your fleet, because you're talking about building all these cars, I've tried to get Jim on board. He hasn't committed to it yet, but one of these days I wanted to take a 170, a Razor 170, and do the Hammers course. You down?
I mean, we're gonna have some serious modifications
so here's the
here.
thing.
She's gonna be really quick down back door,
for no doubt about it.
So here's the deal: I want a radial roll cage on it, like just a full-on half moon, and then I want tubes coming out of all the hubs. So the loophole is you're allowed to sign up. 4 or 6 co-drivers?
Oh, you're gonna carry it.
And carry it up the canyons.
Carry it up and down. So you take the little dirt roads, and then in between everybody just grabs a corner, and you can just walk the thing down the canyon.
Yeah, I mean this with all the love, but tell me you've not raced KOH without telling me you've not raced KOH.
No, the funny thing is,
I've podiumed
she's podiumed multiple times.
Oh my God, you're my hero.
No, I laugh because I'm like, this girl's actually podiumed multiple times.
That's how I know you're full crazy. Is you actually understand the size of those rocks.
Well, crazy is KOH.
Yeah.
But
Sledgehammer in a Razor 170 sounds awesome.
You would get your work out of it.
No
That's
doubt.
all I'm saying. Just winch, start to finish, just drag it. Just keep. All I'm saying is like it.
It's gonna have a winch line a mile long. Just start at the top and just winch it up the. rocks.
No, you just throw it on the back of somebody else's car and you just piggyback in the canyon. And
tow me up.
You just, what is it, skateboarding? How you like, is it skitching or whatever, where you hold on to the back of it?
The back of the car and they...
There's a few guys there. Have you guys seen the guys that brings out all the stereo on top of his car and does hammers? You guys and the 170 and the stereo guy would be epic.
Yeah, we'd have our own battle going on.
Exactly. I like it.
Gosh. I laughed. I'm like, where are you going with this? Because you're like, he hasn't signed off. I'm like, what shenanigans have on it I signed off on of yours?
Yeah, nobody's been willing to commit to
I was
this.
Like, that one, I may draw the line.
I've said this for, I think since that thing came out. But no.
This is where I sign up. I'm like, Britt, I support you and everything, and I will support you being your pit crew.
Because
you'll never make it to the pit.
Right. No, I just heard rumor that they're building a short course out in Hammertown, right now. So I'm super cool.
Like a proper short course.
Yeah.
Okay. And, not that the other one wasn't proper, but
no, but yeah, it was built
Sorry, John.
It was built in the 2 weeks that we're there. So anyway, hopefully there's some truth to that, because that would be some epic racing. And I know they try to bring in other, Class 11 stuff, which is really exciting to watch. But maybe that could make your 170 dream come true. Race it on the short course.
Nah.
Now she's into the rocks. All right.
Definitely into the rocks. Oh, Lord.
I think I just keep throwing it out there because I know the second somebody actually says yes,
it hasn't
let's
stuck
do it,
yet. Yeah,
I might be like, But the whole point with the radial cage is that was my deal. You hop down the rocks, right? It just rolls on its lid and turtles back over.
Oh, jeez. That sounds like a workout.
There was actually some thought process into this.
I think you're going to have to go to, the Muscle Beach guy. I don't know, somebody with, a strength training. Those are the guys you're going to need to pitch it to.
Yeah, it's...
Well, what was it? I'm trying to think. Todd Romano, he did King of the Motos on an e-bike.
Oh, wow.
1 year. And every time they got to the canyons, he just put it over his shoulder and just hiked the canyon up.
Wow.
And I think that's where this whole idea started.
Gotcha. I like it.
But he's like, the only bad thing is his top speed is 19 miles an hour at the time. So every time he got down with the canyons, they'd all take off on the dirt bikes, and he's down this sandy wash on an e-bike.
That's crazy.
Maybe he'll do it with me.
There's so many ways I go, but he would absolutely be in. Yes. Yeah. Romano is probably the guy. And we just need to, 24-hour fitness as sponsorship so you can get the biggest, bulkiest.
Yeah, right.
Do a nationwide search. Who's the most ripped people at 24-hour fitness?
I'm so out on this.
Yeah.
I like how we get quiet not at the end of the conversations because we're all thinking.
I know. I'm thinking how it would really happen. I'm like, I'm still out.
The funny thing is, and you understand, the crazy thing is, crazy ideas like that in this industry, those are the ones that get sponsorship.
Yeah, right.
You get people like, oh, yeah, I'm on board with that. This is going to get, a lot of exposure. Good, bad, and different. It's going to get exposure.
Right? That's the tough part. I won 3 championships last year, but if I would just go jump to the moon, I would be farther ahead.
Yeah, go and try to set the distance world record jump. And even if you crash, everybody's happy.
Well, that's okay. So exactly, you said you wadded up your car, right? Bad things happen. So the amount of social or recognition, whatever, on the crash, on a good crash versus a good win.
For sure. Yep. Yeah, if only my crash was all televised, that would it would. Turns out it just happens in the desert where nobody sees it.
Well, that's Pastrana's deal. So when you go to Pastrana Land, you literally sign a waiver and everything else. Their one rule at Pastrana Land is nobody pays for anything. You can crash, you can burn things to the ground, you can destroy whatever you want to destroy.
Okay.
As long as it's caught on video. If it's not caught on video, you pay. No, and it's literally, it's written in the thing. So Travis doesn't care. Burn a UTV to the ground, as long as it's on video, he's good with it.
Yeah, I'm ready to party with Travis. Where's he at?
Pics or it didn't happen.
Yeah.
He lives that life.
Yeah, it's literally pics and video or it didn't happen. It's funny, but it's literally written in the waiver you sign when you get there. And everybody signs the same waiver.
That's so cool.
I don't care what you destroy. Get it on film.
I'm in. We need to get to Pastrana Land. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, Britt and I went and we had a blast for 2 or 3 days.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's literally power sports and action sports wonderland. I've never...
I didn't realize how intimidating. The foam pit just looks like nothing, and you get up into the rafters, and we're both I think it took us 3 days to actually jump off of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like anything. You can get there, and I'm like, I don't know. I think I had to roll off to finally get off. I couldn't get myself to jump off of it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun though. That should be everybody's bucket list.
I like it.
We spent 2 days like trail riding on 110s of all things and had a blast doing that. Like it's just.
It was. There's everything there. You can do whatever you want. And every time we were sitting around, we had 5 seconds where nobody had a plan, and he and I would just be on another 110. Like, we just grab it and go and, like, come back an hour later. Like, oh, no, more dead time. Okay, bye.
That's awesome.
I'm borrowing bicycles at the skate park. Like, no, literally, you just.
Didn't they just do a race that was like a figure 8 race where you drive over and under?
Yeah, they built. So when we were there, they didn't have the jump. They just had the donut, the figure 8, but they didn't have the jump, and they built the jump in after we were there.
Mm-hmm.
The most exciting part of watching those guys to me is like the athletes. They're insane, all of them. But when you see those guys starting to pump the brakes, like, ooh, I don't know about this. Like, you know, it's gonna be
some
good.
of the ramps, like the stuff they were doing the triple flip on. You look at those ramps, and they had them sitting there, and you're like,
oh my gosh. So when you're looking up, standing next to it,
I can't even comprehend, like. Going at that at speed and hitting it more or less going, oh, yeah, I'm going to, huck a triple flip.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's crazy. You hate to say video doesn't do that stuff justice. It doesn't.
Oh, no way, yeah. And it looks effortless. They land every single time, but you don't see the hours and
yeah,
hours
they
of
don't
practice
land every
in the foam
single
pit.
time.
Yeah. Motocross guys are built different. I am those guys are nuts.
Even the UTV jumps there, though. Like, they were showing us some of the stuff back in the forest he set up and they were doing, and I'm like, I
wouldn't commit.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, we're talking 100-plus foot jumps
Holy
off
crap.
steel ramps through the trees, and, like, I'm looking at that, and, like, they just hit it like nothing, and I'm like, pretty damn good in a UTV. I don't think I would ever hit that.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's –
I'm in. I need a ride to Pastrana Land.
And everything's just random, too. It's just randomly placed throughout. They just drag it. Like Hubert was telling us.
Hubert was our tour guide,
He's like, there's a ramp for everything. He's like, we don't just have a ramp or 2 ramps that we move around. He's like, no, there's a ramp for this vehicle, for this specific jump. Like, everywhere you go, you'll go around a corner, and there's just another ramp just sitting there.
That sounds awesome.
It is. It's definitely playland for sure.
Nice.
so. What's the rest of your sand sports show look like?
We're actually going to go take a ride around the what do you call it? I don't know if it's a burnout pit. The Fox Proving Grounds, I believe, is what they call it. So we're going to go do some ride-alongs over there with Kevin Stearns and then Blake Wilkie. That should be a lot of fun. Have you guys gone over to watch that yet?
We watched a little bit of it yesterday.
Yeah, it's rowdy, man. Like,
I didn't see we didn't see the jump until we were leaving last night. And you've got a jump over there. I was like, that looks like a pretty legit jump.
It's big. Yeah, it's like 4 feet tall. And when you send it to flatland and you got to shut it down by the corner, I mean, like coming from the safety and racing side of things,
right?
more so than the. I mean, I'm like, I don't know that this would fly, but no, they do a killer job, and it's like exceptional entertainment that is. Made as safe as possible. It's pretty awesome.
They also have a little bit of suspension to help them out, though, too.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's so that's what we're doing at 3, and then just hanging out, cruising around, networking with everybody. Like we mentioned, there's like you can't walk 10 feet without seeing somebody else and catching up with old friends and old partners. It's awesome.
Well, and then tonight is Goat Hill, so.
I've heard Goat Hill every night is what I've been hearing.
It is Goat Hill every night, but we were talking.
Tonight's like the night.
Oh, really?
No, nobody ever makes it all 3. We all say we're going to go every night, but nobody ever makes it all 3. We went Thursday and kind of scoped it out.
Sure.
And then everybody kind of went last night, but the show ended so late that it's kind of the interim. But tonight's like the FOMO night, because if you haven't gone yet, you have to. And it is a show and a half.
Cool. Yeah. No, we'll have to make it out there tonight then.
Yeah, absolutely. Goat Hill is where it's at.
Okay, cool.
So, bring your party pants.
I like it.
All right, buddy. Good catching up, dude. Have a great rest of the night, and we'll see you for drinks at Goat Hill tonight.
Sounds good. Thanks so much for having me on. Good to see you guys.
And we will be back after this on the General Tire Jake Versey Show with Brittney Cardone. General Tire offers a wide variety of options that are designed to deliver for whatever life brings your way. Whether you have a truck, car, or SUV, General Tire delivers for whatever you drive. From the long-lasting all-season Altimax RT43 to the aggressive all-terrain Grabber ATX, General Tire covers on-road performance, off-road capability, and durability. General Tire delivers. For more information, drive over to GeneralTire.com. General Tire, official tire of The Jim Beaver Show. Don't just shred your way through any off-road rugged terrain. Get into gear with GSP XTV and let us redefine your adventure. The GSP advantage of quality and performance sets a standard for UTV axles. We strive to provide premium ATV and UTV axles to keep you shreddy ready. Kick up some dirt and get in the driver's seat with GSP XTV. With over 35 years of experience, drive with a company you can trust. Drive with GSP. For more information, please visit us at gspxtv.com today. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Social media? Yeah, we've got that. Jim Beaver 15 on all major platforms, and Jim Beaver Show, JB15 Group, and B Cardone 15 on the gram. Welcome back here to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittney Cardone at Pro Armor at Sand Sports. Mr. Pro Armor himself. The P in Pro Armor stands for Pete, right?
No. I'm just one of the worker bees. I'm not a big wig over there.
He just accidentally keeps getting more corporate.
Not accidentally. It's a lot of effort to me to be more corporate and follow all the policies and procedures.
Do you still have your suits? We got Maddie Wedeking here, too, by the way.
Yes.
We're just giving Pete a ton of crap right now. So do you still have the suits from when you were in banking?
Yeah. Funny thing is, so I had to put on a suit a couple of weeks ago for something that I had to go to.
Court.
Maddie, you've known him your entire life.
Not
Have you ever seen him in a suit?
No, I think it's fake. Did he work at a bank? I don't know. Maybe in his dreams, because I'm not believing it.
The T-shirt tuxedos don't count.
Yeah.
Pete's like, there's three people ganging up on me. What the heck's going on here?
This wasn't part of the deal. That's not what we talked about, Jim. I'm hanging up. No, I deal on the suits, but funny, I don't know who did it, but somebody snuck into my closet and shrunk the damn thing. I don't know
when that happens.
Well,
You too?
Yeah.
So are they high waters, or is it in the waist where it shrunk?
All around, not high waters. I've been this tall since like the 8th grade, so yeah. No, unfortunately, no. I still have a suit. I did wear one a couple of weeks ago, actually.
For not court.
Not for court.
Not for court.
No.
Want to come to the Off-Road Hall of Fame with us? I just want to see you in a suit. Well, we
I
will
wanna
buy
see
your
this.
ticket.
Post it on the gram for proof, please.
Pixar didn't
Yeah,
happen.
didn't happen. I would love to go to the Off-Road Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
That's fun. If you're planning on coming to SEMA, just come a couple days early, and that's Sunday night. Well, we actually, I think, have an extra ticket. So, so if you wanted to come, absolutely.
I have FOMO. I would like to get invited to.
You also have to wear a suit.
Hey, I have that tuxedo shirt from
Yeah.
Amazon.
Now, how often does Maddie dress up in a dress?
Oh.
Maybe once a year.
Yeah. Britt's once a year at Off-Road Hall of Fame.
Okay. Hey.
Now, where was it? No, the other day you were in a dress. And somebody was giving you total crap about it. Where
But
were we?
I was wearing a dress because I was out of shorts. Is the only reason we were in
It was a
Havasu.
laundry day.
Yeah, we were in Havasu. We're going out Cowie, and she shows up in a dress. I was like, "What the heck?" Well, her shorts somehow
was a
made it.
t-shirt dress,
Her
like-
shorts somehow made it into my suitcase.
And I didn't do laundry because we were coming from Crandon, and it was literally drop off the luggage and go to Havasu. So, no, that's what it was. My power went out. I had like a
the power went
4-hour
out.
window of getting home, doing laundry from one event and going to the next. And I put all my clothes in the laundry, and the power went out. So I had to leave in a few hours, and all my shorts were sitting in either the washer or the dryer not dried. And I'm like, so no pants day today. Okay.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, see, that's where it's an advantage being like me or Jim, I'm assuming. If in that scenario, you just swing by Walmart or whatever and buy a couple more pairs of shorts and keep on rolling, where I'm assuming girls buy, well, I know this because I have daughters.
Walmart
but-
shorts?
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's
Said,
not
why
the
I said
style.
me or Jim are fine.
Walmart sells Dickies, so I think Pete's like, see, Pete, he goes Dickies at Walmart. So
As he's in Dickies right
yeah,
now.
no, legitimately. So Pete's name brand is actually sold at Walmart. So it's like, so
Wait, there's other shorts? Other than Dickies, I don't think so.
I'll just show up next time with like ankle, like there'll be dudes' Dickies that are down to like my calves.
Yeah, then you'll look like Pete.
Tall socks. I'll wear some DCs.
Pete will start calling you a chola.
Yeah, it's got to be down to your ankles.
I preface that with it's an advantage for me or Jim because we can swing by. I didn't assume that you two would ever swing by Walmart and grab.
I'm not above it,
shorts.
and I have done it. The other problem is I didn't have clothes in that situation, so Walmart and then go back, and then also having to be out of town. So it's like, hey, do I get 20 minutes of sleep, or do I go by Walmart? Because that's about the timeline I was on.
Yeah. Or the whole Delaware situation.
Or wear a dress.
Or
wear a dress.
just grab a long T-shirt that also identifies as a dress out of your closet and just put it on. And then everybody makes comments all night about you dressing up to go to Havasu, so that won't happen again.
I mean, you're going to Havasu. Might as well just dress up in like a bathing suit.
You'll
fit in with like 90% of the people there.
It was a cover-up.
Yeah, it was
one
a
of those,
cover-up.
it was just a T-shirt cover-up. Like,
it was like I knew exactly what it was, and it was just funny because everybody's like, "Oh, you dressed up," and she's like, "I threw on a cover-up." Like,
yeah,
I was out of shorts.
So,
anyways, so suit.
Got it.
Yeah,
I do own a suit, and I would wear a suit. So yes.
Yeah, maybe I'll fit in his suit from like back
actually,
in the day.
this will be a fun table at Off-Road because for the first time in a long time, I'm not hosting. We're doing a radio show beforehand.
We're gonna get Lauren on
yes,
here. He
Lauren
just brought
is
a
awesome.
splitter.
Yes, you are awesome, buddy. You found a unicorn cord. Oh gosh,
Made it. You made it. We just had a special cable splitter made so that we can have more shenanigan conversations at once.
That's
we
awesome.
love that.
yeah. So, yeah, no. If you got this, could actually be a fun Off-Road Hall of Fame because I'm not hosting for the first time. We're doing a radio show and like the pre-thing, but literally like. You want to come?
You
want to come?
my date.
Hey,
you can be his date.
I'm in. I'll wear a suit. I'd love to go check out the Off-Road Hall of Fame. That would be so fun.
Well, I'll get with Jen and we'll figure out because we could probably just get a table.
Yeah,
because I think it's 10 seats to a table. So
if not, we could
there could be 10 of us. Don't you worry.
We can take over somebody else's table. It's fine.
Yeah.
It'll become our table because they'll just leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we'll make this happen though. This would be fun. Actually, get a
SEMA this year. If that happens, I mean, obviously the Off-Road Hall
this
of
is
Fame.
Sunday night, and then SEMA starts Tuesday morning, and Monday happens to be Halloween, so we can all go out for Halloween.
And then the following weekend, Wes is doing his.
Yeah, we're going to. Are you going to that too?
Her
and I
sure.
are definitely going. I was like, when was the last time they had $10,000 in a freestyle quad contest up for grabs?
I think I'm going to Wes's thing, even if I don't make it to SEMA.
No,
I'm trying to go to SEMA this year and get tickets. But if I don't pull that off, I'm still going to go.
Well, her and I were talking. We're like, depending on how SEMA is, we may just go to Cedar City for a couple days. We're coming back to go to Wes's thing. Like it's
Well, and it's easy enough for you guys to run up to Cedar. It's 2.5 hours or something.
Yeah, about that. Not bad.
Are you going to go to Wes Miller's Huevos Grande reunion?
She's like,
party?
I am now.
No.
Have you ever seen a Huevos video?
No.
The freestyle quad
I'm like
stuff.
12.
No, that's what I'm asking. I guess it's like the 20-year reunion, so you're probably like 2.
I'm like 12. What do you want from me?
I don't know.
Well, the funny thing is, now that she reminded me of that, like I'm sure Aaron was into the videos, her dad, as much as I was, and because Aaron and I are the same age, and both started out riding quads and Glamis and everything else. So I'm sure her dad would identify more with the party than she would.
My dad would totally be down.
Yeah, your dad's always down for a good party.
Literally. But is it the 9th to the 13th or something like that? Is it that weekend?
It's
like
Friday and Saturday of SEMA week.
Where it rolls, it rolls like after SEMA, it just rolls into that.
Rolls into that?
Yeah, it'll be like probably the
Why, do you have a race
6th.
or something?
No, we're going to Nashville for my 21st birthday.
Oh, that's right.
I thought you said you were 12. Pick a number.
Hey, dyslexic.
Just looks 12. She just looks 12.
Britt and I were in Nashville for the first time in June. It is absolutely one of our favorite cities.
I love Nashville. We've been out there for a couple off-road shows out there, and we had a blast. So I'm like, I'm coming here for my 21st birthday.
We will. You know what we need to do? So the girl that's the lead singer for the band that plays just about every night at Kid Rock's bar.
Okay.
She's become a friend of Brittney and I's. If you're going, like literally, we need to send Rachel. Hey, we got a girl coming. Like,
hey, I'll go up there. I'll sing. I'm not very good, but I'll help her out.
She will call you out.
No.
She is saucy.
Yeah. I'm all talk.
Follow. I think it's Rachel Blount Music or something on Instagram. Like,
she's a riot.
She's a riot. She's a showman, like showwoman. It's pretty awesome. But I guess we should talk UTVs and Pro Armor and Maddie's Racing and stuff like that at some point, right?
It's not nearly as cool as that, but we could.
It's cooler.
We get derailed here a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
ADD.
We did have an awesome race, and you were there. You were helping pit Maddie at Vegas Torino.
Yes.
It was
So
rad.
fun.
So I raced a long time, and it was awesome. So we were my brother ended up breaking a spindle pin and going in the ditch, but Jamie Campbell, us, and you were like 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2, 3, but like on course.
Yeah.
The three of us had a race for like 300-400 miles within
my
like 2
gosh.
minutes of each other.
Yes.
It was crazy. Like I'd catch Jamie, you're catching me. Like I got around Jamie at one point, then Jamie gets back around me, and you were like in the mix, and I'm like, it was so much fun for like 300 or 400 miles.
It was so much fun, and especially at the start line, because I think you started a couple cars ahead of me, I think. And so I was
I think
like,
we were like one car in between us or
yeah,
something.
there was
there's
someone
one-
in between us.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wanted to go say hi, but you know us.
Yeah.
We showed up a little late to the start line, so we had to be like game face.
We weren't late, were we?
I had to get my hair done, so I showed up a little late. Kind of late to the party.
That's funny
I don't remember
because
that,
she
though.
was already there when we showed up. So
Really?
yeah, we showed up behind you because we had to get around you to like go park to stage.
Oh, then we were
I think
all
at that
late.
point I was belted up and I waved out the window. I was like, "Hey, Maddie!"
Wow.
Yeah.
No, the dicing back and forth was awesome to watch because I remember we had a Starlink this time in the chase truck, so I was able to track the race car the entire day and play music, and it was awesome. But watching the tracker between the three of you guys was pretty awesome. It was from pit 9 when we were running from pit 9 to 12, whatever the last pit we hit.
Yeah,
So-
whatever. Because I know that I was battling it out with you guys, like during the very right up to where we trailered the car.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I finished right behind
Yeah,
you guys.
because we all showed up and we're like, "Hey, how's it going? How are you?"
It was literally within seconds. Literally, like Campbell, you, us, within seconds of each other.
It was crazy. I mean, it was so much fun though. Like, especially because we didn't have a very good qualifying run.
No, neither did we. It was
Yeah.
like I got in dust and it was just a mess.
Well, let's
Yeah.
just be real. I mean, look, qualifying, that was this whole separate race than Vegas Torino, so we'll just skip that part.
yeah.
Yeah, 4-seaters and a short course track. That
Right?
Yeah.
really goes well.
That are about 50 horse down from what the other people were racing.
Yeah,
so-
exactly. I mean,
It translates, though, right?
But
That's definitely how you set it. How you set up times. It makes total sense.
yeah,
It's
but
fine.
I mean, you got to deal with it. I dealt with it, and we just started, with you guys. We were just working our way through the pack, But, I mean, the race did get kind of cut short, with having to trailer for however long.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we still made it work.
It reminded me of Nora. Like how you have to do the transfers and all that in Nora is
Yeah.
kind of that whole.
That was my
whole
first
deal.
time ever doing something like that.
Oh.
I didn't hate getting a sandwich in the middle of a race for an hour, like getting out, like going to the bathroom, eating a sandwich. Like literally, I was like, this isn't horrible.
Yeah.
This is how short course people live.
And this is why I tell you
Right, must be
need to go to
nice.
Nora. Like
that went a lot smoother than I thought it was. Like,
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a mess, and everybody honored. Like they're like, "Don't touch the cars." You got it. So we pitted right before we pitted like you're supposed to, and then we went through the thing and got our time. And I thought there was going to be a bunch of people cheating. Like, no, we're not going to take that and spend 30 seconds. Like we did it. Everybody I know did it, and it was like I thought for sure somebody was going to cheat. Literally, we pulled in, nobody was touching their cars. Like it was. I was like, it was actually when the honor system worked.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we did too. We fueled up there right before we loaded up, and it was cool seeing, like, everyone follow the rules, like, hey, all right, like, fair and square. I like that.
We were talking about it, though, too, with the cars, and that's kind of what made it fun with the racing as well. Because, we had one or two cars that we all talked about at the transfer where it's like, all right, what the hell is going on with this?
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like, when we were battling it out, it was funny because you see who it is, and we were having this conversation with Keegan and RJ on the short course side of it's the same on when you're going 3 wide with somebody and who's behind you and who you hear on the radio of who there's a mutual respect level that goes on, and that's what made it fun of, like, they earn it, they get the pass.
Yeah.
If they don't, but at the same time, like, we're not also going to, purposely. So it was just one of those deals where it's like, all right, we're playing the leapfrog, and we'll catch it up here, we'll do here, and we're playing the strategy game, and we were all three kind of playing that same game. So it worked how it should, and I laughed because I've been telling him, I'm like, when the push to pass works, it works well. It's when everybody doesn't do it, when it shows up out of nowhere, when people, and I'm like, there's a reason it exists, and it is a lot safer when it doesn't get abused. But for whatever reason, that series, it doesn't seem to mesh that well. And it was funny because we were all using it as it should and, like, on the money, and it made things so much simpler and easier because it's like when you had the right to pass, it was one of those deals, all right, cool, they know. And you'd sit back and wait 30 seconds, all of a sudden car would pull over, we could take off. And
yeah. I mean, not even. We don't even use our push to pass until
you're right there.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I mean by,
There's some people that'll do it like literally a mile back, and we're one of those, like,
cool.
if we see the push to pass, we'll look, and it's one of those where if I can see you in the mirror and you're within 15, 20 yards, I'm not going to make you fight to hit my bumper. I'll pull over. You caught me. But it's like I'm not going to.
If you earn it.
Yeah, we're not going to gift it to you. But if you've earned it, like, I'm not going to be a jerk and, like, hold you up. It's like.
Yeah, there's no point in that. I mean, if you already caught someone and you're already within passing distance, you're already faster than them. Just let them go. Like, that's how I feel about it.
No, and that's what I mean. That was nice of having everything work the way it should.
Yeah.
And we were all on the same page.
The three of us were just having fun.
Yeah.
Did you guys have? I remember Maddie, you were talking about after the start there was that 45-mile-an-hour zone or whatever that.
That
weird
was a
speed.
mess because it goes right after the restart, and we're going, and, like, there was nothing. There was no signs that said 45 miles an hour. There was no speed zone signs.
Just a guy at the start that said, "Hey, make sure to go 45."
He never told us that.
He didn't. No.
He never came up and said that.
Nope.
So literally, and Britt's watching the tracker boxes. Normally, it says speed zone,
and it never did.
Nothing. So literally, we're going, and I'm seeing Jamie Campbell up there, and I'm like, what's going on? And we, like, catch him, and all of a sudden I'm like, do I pass? Are we doing something wrong? Britt's like, I don't know. And then somebody
just
blew past all of us, and I was like, well, hell with this. And I just stood on it. And then, like, Jamie afterwards, he's like, dude, I don't know what was going on. He's like, we were following the rules. I was like, I was trying to, and then until people started passing
I told him,
like,
we're 45. I thought 45. I didn't see it. He didn't say anything, nothing. But normally, you know how the tracker box lights up and watches your speed, and that never lit up. So I'm like, I don't. It was total fluster moment.
It was really stressful because, I mean, they told us, like, make sure you go 45, and they instilled that in our,
the driver's meeting. I heard it.
Yeah, I heard it at the driver's meeting, and then at the start, like that second start, they went up to both of us.
Yeah, they didn't tell us.
And they told us, like, do you both understand? Like, give us a thumbs up. So we both did a thumbs up. Like, got it.
Nope, they didn't say anything.
Yeah, so then the guy who started behind us, I mean, we were going 45. They were hauling and nailed us. And I didn't even, like, I had no idea because we weren't even looking in the rearview mirror because it was
and that was the same guy that probably flew past us.
Yep. And so I messaged him after. I was like, hey, like, it was 45. And he's like, no, it wasn't.
Wow.
And I was like, and then everyone saw BDI's post and was like, oh. Then I got a message back. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't know that part of the story.
Yeah. We heard the before story. We were all talking about you getting. I didn't realize you got tagged twice in like 20 minutes. That's
because both of us got kind of done in by the same guy in one regards. Like,
maybe you need a brighter car, Maddie.
Yeah,
maybe you might want to change that color scheme.
Nobody can see the bright teal.
Yeah, the teal is just not bright enough, apparently. I'm like, oh my gosh! But I mean, it was a 45-mile-an-hour zone. I thought, but apparently they weren't telling them. So they were. We didn't get told, but we were sitting there. I was waiting for it, and we were going 45, and I'm watching it, and it never lit. And that was my big thing, is it never lit. And then all of a sudden from there, then that dude flies by, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess we're in the race then. Like, yeah, it just didn't feel right. Like, normally you see the signs. They always have the signs up, and then that thing starts, flashing at you, especially if you're going over. Then it starts going red, saying, oh, you're going 47,
Well, that's it. And, like, Britt counts it. You know what I mean? She'll be like, 43, 44, 45, 45, 44. You know what I mean? So we're always right in there. And she's like, yeah, this thing's not coming.
I was like, I'm waiting. I'm like, it's not. I'm like, is this 45? And we're both sitting there going back and forth. And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, driver's meeting, they said it. But they didn't say it here. I'm like, I didn't see any signs. Tracker's not going off. We're trying to figure it out. We're going 45 because we're trying to figure it out. Yeah. And then dude just blows past us. And we're like, I guess it's not.
Yeah. Well, and most of my little experience I've had with Matt and her is most of the speed zones are 25 or, just race pace. So, like...
Yeah.
45 is kind of out of the norm.
There was one random section we got on, and it was like a 65 mile an hour speed limit, and I'm like, so we're pretty much going full speed then.
Yeah, like, what was
it was like a twisty mountain road.
That, that wasn't meant for us. I can tell you that.
Yeah,
so Britt's like, just go full speed.
Yeah, it was through, like, twisty turnies.
I'm like,
I can't hit this.
Yeah,
I was like, how are we doing? She's like, we're really going, like, it was like 50 or something. I was like, yeah, we're good. Like, I
was like, don't even worry about it. I'll let you know if you get close.
Yeah, you're going 42, dude.
It was funny, though, because, like, we've all become really good friends. You know what I mean? And it's like midway, we're talking at the break and stuff. Literally the next day, we're driving back. Jamie Campbell calls me. And Jamie's like, dude, that was awesome. The three of us had this great race. And, like, it was funny because all three of us were like, this is the way racing should be. Like, three people, like, racing each other hard. It's clean. And then at the end of the day, we're all friends. And it's like, yeah, we can tell stories.
Which is so funny because before the race, so I've always been either 1808, 1908, T908. So I've always had, like, the ending in either 908 or 808. Well, the unlimited class, he had 2908.
Oh.
So I had to give him a call, like, okay, can I please have my number? Does this number really mean a lot to you? He's like, no, it doesn't. I'm like, can I do anything to have my number? And he was like, yeah, dude, go for it.
That's
like,
cool, though.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
I was literally like, I mean, literally everything.
Yeah.
908.
Well, it's funny, though, because when we moved to Unlimited, same thing.
15.
We were 9:15, and then we moved to 29:15, and I had to call Amanda Sorensen because she had done like a race and whatever, and they're like, oh, yeah, we're not doing anything. You can have it. It means nothing to us. It was just a number we picked. And it was literally they just gave it to us. Like, it was like, yeah. So it's like sometimes there's stuff like that where it's just.
Yeah.
But no, like all of our branding is around JB15.
Exactly.
It's like
if we don't change, we're going to have all new apparel. So
and that's a really expensive move to make for a number.
I'm just going to show up with that number anyways.
Yeah.
What'd you put on the new race car?
No number as of right now.
Okay.
I need to see if anyone signed up because in the Martelli series, we're like our own number. I believe it's like a PR, like 08 or P9. It's like a different
that's
number.
Matt. He's right there.
Oh, hey. He literally right here. I just texted him.
Here.
Hey, Matt, we got to make an executive Cal 300 decision.
Come here.
Yeah. We're going to make this happen right now for you, Maddie.
Yay.
Yeah, we're talking about Cal 300. So, yeah. So
really important stuff, Matt.
We're making very executive decisions as Matt Martelli sits here.
Literally.
So Maddie needs a number, and she goes, I need to get a hold of Matt or whatever. And I'm like, wow, we got Matt right here. We're making a decision.
What, you want like 666 or something crazy?
Oh,
like
my goodness. I am a child of God.
Wait a second. I saw that reveal. I think that the hottest thing was you in that car, right?
Thank you. I thought it was the teal sparkles.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. So we're so excited to do the California 300. I mean, that's our first race in that Pro R. We are so excited.
I got to tell you, I mean, I know I'm the promoter and I'm supposed to promote and I'm going to, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it down. I was talking about it earlier. Of all the race courses I've been on in America, I think that's the best race course. I think we have it. It's got a little bit of everything, and people are a little bit shocked because, you know, they think of Barstow and it's just the rough stuff that we have up at Barstow, Maine, and there's that stuff there. But the rest of that area is just amazing. We've got washes and rally roads and, you know, multiple lines of passing that I think is really going to open up the racing. You know, and there's some areas where you're going to have to hang it out if you want to get around people. So I'm excited to watch the racing to see what's going to happen because I think that this course is going to allow people to really race and not be behind each other playing follow the leader in one line.
Yeah, a lot of the racing in the States, I mean, is a lot of just follow the leader, and it's really hard to pass. So, I mean, even UTV Worlds last year, it was fun to, like, actually, you know, have those different lines and be open to pre-running and, like, finding those lines, finding where to be faster. It's such a great opportunity that for people who race in the States, we really don't get to do that a lot.
Yeah, and don't forget, we added pre-running. So you get 2 days of pre-running. In the poker run, that's the Saturday beforehand. That is the course as well. So that's a 70-mile loop, and anybody who wants to make it out to that will get a little, not a little taste, but a full taste of what that course is going to be like.
We had talked about a poker run. I didn't even think about it. Matt was telling me, we were chatting earlier today and talking about the poker run, and remember the last race, so I was like, that'd be great for the whole team to go.
Oh, yeah.
All of us, you know, have our own vehicles, and it'd be fun to get out and do that. And that's an perfect opportunity for us.
Yeah, as it's also cool to do a poker run because, a lot of these guys who pit for us, they don't get to experience the adrenaline that we do. Maybe when we come in, they have to change a tire or something. So it's cool to do the poker run so your entire team can see, like, this is what we race, this is the course, this is what we experience, just way faster,
I actually liked, we when we were out at Adventure on the Rocks or Rally on the Rocks, whatever the name of that is. When Twitchell's a title sponsor and he can't even tell us what the name of the event is, I think we're safe. But no, like Pete, we get out there and we're having some pretty gnarly rock crawling. Pete, I didn't realize this guy's like a rock monster out there. Like just you're like you said, you're like I've got a lot better, but like I was like, damn, Pete can drive.
Well, yeah, I mean, hanging out with Brandon and HCR guys definitely gotten a little bit better. I mean, I'm not rock monster at all, but no, I mean, rocks aren't too that horrible for me anymore. It's a lot of fun and. Definitely fun when you're in the company car. It's kind of a rental. So I've got a parts account from Polaris, so definitely a little more aggressive than that situation.
So, Matt, how has it been preparing for the 300 and, like, the course?
I like this. Look at her taking over a hosting job. Like,
hey.
I dig this. Like, yeah, it's like.
Well, let's talk about who your first sponsor was here.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you guys know this story.
No, I don't.
What year was that? Was that 15, 16?
Well, here's the problem with getting older is you shorten everything down. So to me, it was like a year ago.
Oh, yeah, no. I don't even think I had a driver's license, to be 100% honest with you.
That makes it even better.
So we both got an opportunity to race the trophy lights. And, I mean, that was my first time driving it. Was it your first time driving a trophy light?
Well, I'd driven the old version of them. That was the very beginning, they were horrible. They were super skatey and like to roll over. But no, not since this version of them. I hadn't driven those before race day.
So pretty new for both of us. And I mean, I was just getting into racing. I think I maybe had a year under my belt. So, me feeling so confident going into it.
Yeah.
Not really. Well, we start picking a bet on who's going to win. And if I won, well, I got $100 from you, right? And then if you won, I was a broke 13-year-old kid, so he wasn't getting anything.
I was looking at her dad going, you got me, right? There you go.
$100 credit.
This will be like a G worth of PRP product after this, right?
Yeah, right. So, we were making that bet, and it was a 2-day race. It was Rage at the River, right?
Yep.
And the first day, we saw who came across the finish line first, and it was me. So technically, Matt was my first sponsor. And
so I lost the bet. She smoked me.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's saying something, though. You were there before PRP or Pro Armor. I mean, man, like family. You trumped the family, dude.
It was really cool. I mean, it's really fun for me to see, young people, young men, young women, catch the bug, get that first stoke and see their eyes light up and go like, oh, okay, cool, I got this. I understand how rad this is. And then, to watch Maddie go through her career and get better and better and, get more opportunities. And especially as a woman, like that's one of the things that I love about the evolution of UTVs. It's brought a lot of younger people into the sport. And it's also kind of leveled the playing field a little bit for women. When you look at my favorite savage, Kristin Matlock, and what she's done, it's incredible. But it shows you that in off-road racing, you don't have to be big, muscular, aggressive guy to do it. In fact, sometimes that works against you. I know when I get past, I kind of lose my mind and start wanting to nerf people. But, so you have to, if you're a little bit more calm and collective, it's better in the long run. So, it's been really cool for me to watch you, put all the time and effort into your career, your relationship with your dad and racing. So, no, it's cool, man. And, back to your early question about what it's been like for the California 300, it's great. We have a vision of what we want off-road racing to be, and that's, 4 mints a year in major markets. And so this is a really important race to us, and we believe it's an important race to our culture because it's the only major desert race other than King of the Hammers that's happened in the last 27 years in this area, and this is the mecca of off-road. It'd be like not having the Indy 500 in Indy. We've got to have that here in order to, support and promote our racing culture, right? And all the businesses. I mean, we're here at Sand Sports Show, and it's it's booming, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's rad because, you know, you turn on the television, it's the end of the world, the economy's collapsing, and we're in wars, and you're going to get more germs now, or whatever's happening, right? And you come here, and people are like, you know what we want to do? We want to get our gear. We want to get prepped for the season and go riding, you know? And that's really good. It's refreshing. And I'm stoked to see, you know, this is a bigger year than I've ever seen here at Sand Sports Show.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, off-road is just one big family, you know? No matter if you're desert racing, if you're play riding, if you dune, like, everyone's here. All different companies are here promoting different products, and we all get to go out there and just enjoy the desert and do what we love, no matter what's going on out in the world.
100%.
One thing I've always appreciated, Brittney and I have told her this before, but it's like you talked about girls and how they're coming up, and like you guys, in certain regards, you have it a lot harder than guys do. And then there's a lot of girls that'll take shortcuts on social media and things like that. And the way you've carried yourself and the professionalism you bring, and it's like, I mean, last year at Sand Sports, like you stopped by for an interview, but you're hustling. Like you're working a booth, you're doing this, you're doing that. And I'm like, you're doing everything the right way. And like to me, I love to see the success you're getting because you've put in the hard work, you've put it in, and now it's starting to reap the rewards, you know, and you didn't take any shortcuts. You've done it the hard way, you know, and that, to me, that means a lot.
Thank you. You know, I definitely don't want to take the easy route and just, you know, post pictures and, you know, a bikini, like use my body for it. No, like at the end of the day, like when I put my helmet on, I'm just another person behind the wheel. I'm not going to try to emphasize the fact that I'm a female or try to sell anyone on that. I mean, I want to be respected in this industry, and if it means I have to work a little harder, so be it. I'll work harder.
Yeah. Well, that's what I love. Like we were talking about the Vegas Torino race. Like to me, it wasn't, oh, there's Maddie and there's two guys. No. There was 3 race car drivers, and we all had a hell of a battle.
Yeah,
that's
fun.
the way I look at it. It was just 3 race car drivers with a hell of a battle.
Yeah. I mean, I try not to emphasize the fact that I'm a girl because at the end of the day, we're all the same. Doesn't matter. We all got a brain. We all got hands. We all have the same little skinny pedal. Let's make it work.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's still really cool to see, you know, again, all the young people coming up in our sport. You know, it makes me really excited for, you know, really the future. We've just got to figure out some way to bridge the gap between UTVs and trophy trucks. So after I figure that out, I'll let you know. But we're working on it. So, no, again, it's cool. But, you know, as far as the coming race, you know, we want to invite everybody out. Camping is free. Spectating is free. We're just asking everybody to stay 150 feet off course, you know, to keep it nice and safe. We have a start-finish area that we do have tickets for, so that'll go up online next week. So bring your friends and family out. We got a lot of room. We want to see everybody out there riding, having a good time, enjoying, you know, the highest level desert off-road racing that there is. So it's going to be fun. And it's, you know, we were talking about it earlier. Like the funny thing is, like the guys who are the most excited are the old timers, right? So like Steve Olagus calls me the other day, and he's like, Matt, I'm so excited for this race, you know, and he's asking me about what areas we're running through. He's like, yep, I raced that before. It was awesome. What about this area, you know? And I'm like, we got most of the areas that the Fireworks 250 raced in. We're not going up to, everybody asked me if we're going to do the top loop up to the college. We're not doing that upper area just because we think a lot of the city there has grown and there's going to be a lot of spectators creeping in there. So we want to have good control of it. But we're going south past Hodge into Wild Wash, looping back around. And like I said, there's a lot of stuff there that, you know, people have no idea. There's a lot of go fast stuff. There's a lot of technical stuff. There's definitely some rough stuff, but not that much. I mean, you know, running in a UTV gives you a good barometer because it doesn't beat you up a lot, but it's not a pre-runner. So you get a bit of a barometer of like, all right, just when you feel like that's too much, it kind of like relents and smooths out, and now you get to go fast.
Thank you. My spine will thank you.
Well, I mean, truthfully, I don't want to put on races that I don't want to race. Like when we look at race courses and even the Mint, like we'll go out and look at it and I'll go like, man, it's all square edge this way. Let's see if we can run it the other way. Mm-hmm. Or recently, I was just out on the Mint course after all the rains because I wanted to see what it did to it, and it really smoothed out a lot of the course. I was actually shocked at how much work the rain did out there. So this upcoming Mint, I think is going to be one of our fastest loops ever because of how smooth the course is currently.
Good. Fast is fun.
Yeah.
That's
Fast
awesome.
is fun.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, though, the fact that you get to ride it first and be like, okay, is this something I would want to ride?
Yeah.
And because, I mean, sometimes these races are brutal. Like, it gets
Oh, yeah.
gnarly for, like, you know, at least if it's only gnarly for 5-10 miles and then smooths out and gives our
Parker's
body a
always
rest.
really rough.
Yeah, yeah. Like Parker, oh, my gosh.
See, you just need to come camping on New Year's, and I will show you the tricks to Parker.
Oh, yeah, not the little jitters.
Yeah,
Every time.
there are tricks to Parker. There's a reason why I was 6th overall this year.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you want the lines in Parker, come out and camp with Britt and I, and we will show you on a weekend the lines.
Well,
There you go.
literally is your yard.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
literally.
it's your backyard.
It's not even his backyard. It's his yard, right?
It's your front yard. It's your backyard.
I know every rock of that course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny though, Barstow. I laugh because I'm kind of bummed out I'm not racing this year. But, we're kind of in between building race cars, stuff like that, and obviously, thankfully, you've hired me to do the live stream. But I'm actually undefeated in Barstow. My first year of racing, my third race ever, I won in Barstow, and I've never raced in Barstow since then. So I'm undefeated.
Nice.
That was 2001, and I haven't been back, but I'm undefeated in Barstow.
I had totally forgot about the history of the Firecracker 250,
Yeah.
and that was I was a little kid. My dad was chasing
we
for
go
a
out there
Class 1 team back then.
every 4th of July. That was just I knew we're going to Barstow.
Well, that was part of the reason I didn't put it in July this year, right?
Yeah.
Is because
Thank you.
my clearest memory of that race is melting my Vans off in this parking lot, right? And being all pissed, like my brand new Vans, I just destroyed them by walking around and melting them in the parking lot. Like I melted the waffle, bottoms off of them. But
Oh, jeez.
yeah, no, I mean, we want to bring out a lot of that history. We've been talking to a lot of the businesses in Barstow and the surrounding high desert area, and a lot of people grew up on racing there, and it's really interesting because that same thing came up with the Mint when we started working on the Mint, and I remember going in the mayor's office in Las Vegas, and she goes, yeah, I used to skip school and go to Mint contingency. I'll do whatever you need to get done. You're like, what do you want? So that's what it's been like in Barstow. Like the city's been amazing, BLM's been amazing. And then I just have random businesses reaching out to me going, hey, we're a fence company. We'll do your fencing for free. We race, or we used to race. And I'm like, great. Like, we'll pay for it. But that it's, a lot of love out there. And people are really glad that we're bringing back a major desert race, especially the city. We were in one of the city meetings, and one of the guys from the city said, hey, I thought that off-road racing forgot about Barstow and the history in Barstow. I'm like, absolutely didn't. It's our bad for not really focusing on that, and now we understand it, and we're back, and this is going to be a multi-year race, and I honestly really think that within a couple of years this will be bigger than the Mint.
Oh, wow. No, I'm super excited to go and help Maddie again, like I normally do. But yeah, the history of Barstow, it's funny because every SoCal race team goes to Barstow before the race.
Yeah.
We all test up there.
Yep.
Everyone, yeah. That's what we've been testing. Our brand new Pro R has all been Barstow. And, of course, I'm like, I don't know my way around anywhere. So I'm like, this is the roughest. Oh, my gosh. Like, if I had to do 300 miles of this, but, I'm just going up and down Barstow, Maine.
Yeah.
And that's not the whole race.
No, that's honestly like the roughest, nastiest area that you're on.
Yeah.
It's iconic. Speaking of iconic, I got to give you guys a lot of credit. So when they do the T-shirts, you guys have the Del Taco Cal 300 shirt. I'm like, it's the most famous Del Taco in the world. Del Taco just doesn't know it.
Yeah. Well, we had to do that. I mean, that comes from our years of skateboarding and doing all the logo rips. And, that's part of the culture. That Del Taco is part of the culture of off-road racing.
It is.
Oh,
It's infamous,
yeah,
literally.
So we wanted to include that. We wanted to make a nod to that. So that's why we did that shirt. And
You've got these places like Coco's Corner down in Mexico.
Yeah.
You got like the Del Taco there, and you know what I mean? It's just funny. It's like there's these places for some odd reason they've just become iconic.
Yeah, no, well, it's part of the culture, and we want to put that forward. So I'm excited. And I was telling somebody earlier, I'm so excited about this course and so confident about what it is. After we get this race done, we're going to do a Legends rally out there and just have it be open for riding with UTVs so that we could show people how much rad stuff's it's right there, you know?
Yeah.
I think one of the things we're all guilty of with off-road is, staying too close to the highway access. We're like, oh, we're right here, right? And once you go 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 miles deep, that area is just, it's not beat up. It's very, it's very unused. So, and again, a lot of terrain changes, you're going to have elevations. Hodge Road's really cool for spectating because you guys race around the mountains there, right? So if you're camped in Hodge Road, you're going to see the racers for probably about 20 minutes run the ridgeline, right? Yeah. So it'll be great spectating there. It's going to be great spectating at Maine, spectating on the back. So there's lots of areas to go, and people can get a little free and camp and have a good time.
Which is awesome because, spectators are really what makes this sport going, not a lot of people can afford to race, but most of the spectators either love off-roading or they have a play car and they go with their family. So opening it up to, spectators is huge.
Yeah, we learned from the Mint. The Mint's a little bit different in that Nevada requires us to more or less keep everybody, pinned down. This is a little bit different, because of the designation of the OHV area. We have a little bit more freedom, which is nice. And we want people to come and have the experience with their family and their kids and, camp and go riding and really be a part of the culture and not just spectate, but spectate in that fashion.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for it. I'm so excited.
I'm excited.
Especially to drive my new car, just driving it around Barstow now.
It's going to be the first race in the new car?
First race in the new car.
Nice.
I am so excited. I've been out there every weekend since it got finished being built, just, seeing, because Barstow's gnarly. It's known for being gnarly. So just going out there, seeing how the car reacts and whatnot, trying to prepare as much as I can for this race.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it, Matt.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm excited,
Yeah, I think we all are. I know Matt and Maddie and the team is.
Yeah, so. I'm sure many people are, especially now the fact it's not just UTVs. You're opening it up to more people. Yeah. Bigger reach, more people can get excited for it.
You guys are still working on going back to Havasu too, though, right?
Yes, we have a permit application in for Havasu for a bigger race, and we're working on that as well. We have a race that we're working on in Arizona too. We hope to have that done here shortly. So we're going to keep building big events and like I said before, it's like we're not going to build races that I wouldn't want to race. Not interested in, doing holdover events or, events in areas that are, used up and not part of the overall plan in moving off-road racing forward.
Awesome. Well, I think appreciate you guys taking the time. I know we got Pete here, and I don't know if we even mentioned Pro Armor, but yeah, we're here with Pro Armor.
Let's talk about Pro Armor.
We happen to be in the Pro Armor booth.
Yeah, we mentioned that quite a few times.
The beginning part was.
We didn't even mention that you guys are coming out with a complete snow line of products yet or anything like that, so I feel like we got to get those liners in before we let you go, Pete.
No, for sure. Yeah, definitely introduce snow. But to be honest, Matt and Maddie are way more interested in. I'm an off-road geek, so I'd rather talk about racing and that than anything else. So
we need to get a bunch of us off-roaders out on snowmobiles and see how bad it is.
Oh God, I think if we do that,
that's a Mad Media video right there. Like off-roaders try snow.
Yeah. So no, but
how good is Pro Armor's insurance?
I don't know. I don't know they're going to cover that one.
It's more like snowmobiling gone bad.
Yeah, gone wrong.
Yeah, you want to start an Instagram account, Snow Fails, and we'll just send all of us out there.
I'm sure it already exists, but yeah, exactly. I'm dying to get on a snowmobile now that we're have a little more affiliation with it. But yeah, it's going to be bad.
I've actually spent a ton of time on a sled. To the point where I'm actually pretty good. The backcountry stuff is weird when you're switching weight and standing on back corners to get traction, and it's gnarly. But it's funny because they don't react. Like I've ridden a ton of dirt bikes, quads, like anything throw out the window when you go on a snowmobile. It is a complete different beast. It's what's crazy. It's just it's relearning all over again.
I want to start like the bunny slopes. Something easy, something straight.
See, that's a mistake that I made. Is I went right to filming with the sled next guys, and they're just like, here's your sled, and I'm like, okay, and they're like, come on, and we're going through stuff, and I'm the whole time I'm just puckered, going, okay, don't die, right? After that trip, I was like, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'll stick
with
to
the
what
dirt.
I'll stick four wheels, cages. I'll stick to what I know.
It's funny though. Something about snow. What's funny about snow is like everything on snow is different because like Brittney and I hadn't been snowboarding in like 20 years. And so her and I, like in April, got an Airbnb up in Bryan Head. We go up there, and I hadn't snowboarded in like 20 years. And I've got a snowboard, pull it out and everything else. And I skateboard weekly. I surf. I wakeboard. I wake surf. I got up there thinking it was going to come back to me. Dude, it was completely different than everything I did. And I was like, there's something about snow or snowboarding and all the other boarding I do did not transition well.
But where did you go?
Bryan Head.
Okay. With snowboarding, the massive difference is where you go, right?
Yeah. Bryan Head's a legit resort.
You get into good snow, and snowboarding is super fun. You get into, like, what we have out here in SoCal, like the death ice.
Yeah,
Don't
scary.
Don't hook your edge or you're blowing knees stuff. Like, that's not fun.
Yeah.
That's not fun. The whole time you're like, okay, it takes too much focus and energy to have a good time and that stuff. Once you get into, like, the deeper powder with those boards, it's like surfing, right? You're just having fun, and when you do fall, you're like, ha, ha, ha. You know what I mean? You're not getting hurt, whereas here it's like you're going down. It's like you're being chucked into a concrete wall.
That's how snowmobiling is, though. It's complete different. Like, I don't know. It's a blast, but it's relearning everything you thought you knew.
I have no balance whatsoever. Like, riding a bike for me is hard. I have tried to snowboard. It went terrible. Tried to skateboard. Worse. Like, I was falling face first. Not good. So I probably am out for the snowmobiles.
Wait, okay, let's sponsor her with, like, a balance board. We can fix that. It's pretty easy. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, there you go.
We'll get you out surfing with us.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, you guys been spending a bunch of time down at the beach.
There you go.
Yeah, we spent a ton of time at the beach.
Have you ever had a surf lesson with the big foam boards?
So, actually, I have a huge fear of the ocean.
You and Brittney both.
Yeah. The ocean scares me. I don't know. I think it's just I can't control anything there. Like, there's, like, tides and waves that'll come crash and kill you and the sharks that want to eat you. But, I'll eat sushi that comes from the ocean. That's what I was supposed to.
That's her. No, it's funny. Like, Britt literally is that way. Like, rivers, lakes don't bother. Ocean, go to the beach, and she's like, I'll sit on the beach and drink beer and watch you.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to get in the water.
No.
She also got stung by a stingray once in Mexico, so that helps.
Traumatized her.
Yeah, but
I mean, I could go, like, knee deep now without my knees, like, shaking. Like, before, like, it was an actual fear. Like, I would be shaking going in.
I think that Britt's borderline that. Like, I think her love of seafood is because she's like, oh, I hate these fish. I'm going to eat them.
Yeah.
So if we put the sushi out in the water, will you guys go?
I will. I got no problem with it. I'm not scared of the water. Like, I'm a water person.
So
Even a paddleboard. I'll go paddleboard there. Get it?
Just overall.
You'll run a race car down the track at like 90, 100 miles an hour with a trophy truck doing 130, the 7,000-pound beast right after you, and that's cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
But the possibility of touching a fish.
Like just sharks and like you can't
How about
see.
like the lake and river? Like if we said, hey, Maddie, we're taking the boat out in Havasu. Do you want to come?
Let's go. I'm down for a good time.
Okay.
Yeah, but the ocean? No. I'm sick. Sorry, I can't make it.
I don't know. Matt's been showing us these pictures of these banger fish he's been catching, and I'm like, oh, my God,
Yeah,
dude.
we had a good day.
You got a honey hole that you go to. It's like.
Yeah.
Well, San Diego, the fishing, the fish stock has returned, and we've had the last, 6 years of really good fishing in San Diego. So I'm telling everybody, go now because we have some pretty epic tuna, dorado, yellowfin, yellowtail all running right now, and it's just magnificent. So it's really, really cool experience to have the other day, going out with my cousin and a few of my friends.
I got to find this picture just to show you guys that
we caught 13 fish, but Killian's wife, Liz, she caught the majority of them. She caught 5, right?
Oh, wow.
And she did what we call the jackpot, so she caught 3 different species of fish in a day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy is the amount of
He
sea
goes, I
life
can't
out there.
talk right now, and I get that picture.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I got more important things.
Yeah,
to
no,
do.
literally, I try calling him, and I can't talk right now, and it's that picture, and I'm like, dude, fair enough. I was like, so we coming over for dinner?
Yeah, right.
Well,
Where's our invite?
You sent me a similar picture just a few days ago. I called you, and you sent me a picture of you on a jet ski.
Oh, yeah. Pete calls me, and here's Brittney and I on the jet ski. I'll have to find out.
I'm in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete's like, yeah, what did you say? Don't drown her or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. So
Well, that one hurt a little bit more because I was prepping for this show, and it was probably 100 and
Yeah,
6 or
Pete
something.
calls, and this is
Riverside,
what
I'm
I
in a
sent Pete.
warehouse.
So,
Nice.
so it's fair enough. It's funny though in this industry, like, and I know you're the same way when you escape to needles, and you're that way. Like when you get an off weekend or an off day, it doesn't matter if it's middle of the week. What you take it, and you go and just you have to, because this industry will eat you up if you don't like take those days.
Yeah, I think that's life. I mean, like everybody's busier now, and we all dealt with the last couple of years of COVID and all that BS, and now we're through it. And so, like me going fishing was me reminding myself, like, I need to take a minute.
Yeah, take a breath.
It didn't. I didn't get any sleep or rest. But I think I fell asleep on my deck after we processed all the fish, had a barbecue. It was like, 2:00 in the morning, and I'm like, oh, okay, that was a day, But it was well worth it. And
I will say that's one thing, Britt, like in our program she instituted, is like we were traveling doing all this. It was literally an event we'd get over, we're on an airplane, and she goes, look, we're in all these amazing cities and everything else. And she goes, we're not going home. She goes, we're going to take an extra day and just tag on one day. And she goes, and we're going to explore the city. We're going to go do whatever. And it's literally, you can sleep in the next morning. We go out and explore the city, go have good food, and then the next day we fly out. And literally, we tagging on 24 hours has made the world of difference. It's like, it's just, I don't know. It's one of those, just take the time.
No,
when you
it
get
does. It's funny. I have a funny race story. One of them is first time I went to Crandon.
You can step out, Pete, if you got to step out. We're good, buddy. No, thank you, Pete.
Thank you, guys. Sorry.
Thank you. We're just getting long-winded here, buddy.
We'll keep plugging Pro Armor.
We'll keep plugging Pro Armor.
I know.
You go sell some product, buddy.
Thank you.
No, first time I went to Crandon was with the Ledukes, of course, right? And we had a couple of days in between the racing, getting there and getting back, and so we were just cruising around Wisconsin, and of course Kurt's been doing that for a while, so he knows where everything's at. So he's like, hey, we're going to stop here. We're going to get some, vegetables, some sweet corn and whatever at this stand. Then we're going to go here, and we're going to get our brats and all this kind of stuff. So, same thing. It was just cool to see all the stuff that you just drive by normally and don't get to experience.
Yeah. Well, it's even like, Sunday? I mean, we're tagging on an extra day. Instead of bailing out, we're going to go to Oceanside, have dinner with you and your wife, and her and I are going to, like, I've never stayed in Oceanside. I've been to San Diego a ton, so it's like spend the night in Oceanside, get up, and then we got some meetings on Monday, but it's like just that little, like, extra 12 hours, you know what I mean? It's just like it reboots you,
Oh, 100%, especially because you're about to have the best sushi you've ever had in your life.
Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to this because dude, I know you know fish, so I'm like, when you're using that, like, I'm excited for Sunday night.
I'm straight up claiming it. Like, we have
You're a big sushi fan, you said, though, right? Oh.
I love sushi, at least once a week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as fresh as, like, his, because he's, like, catching it himself. I more just show up for the
We have this restaurant down in Oceanside called The Wrench and the Rodent. And it's an odd name, and my friend owns it. And, they're British, and in England – your pub has to have a wacky name or nobody remembers it. So they came up with this name, and I'm like, don't name it that. That's a terrible name for a sushi restaurant. But they're so good, it doesn't matter what it's named, right?
Uh-huh.
And just amazing food. So if you're into sushi, stop at the Wrench and Rodent in Oceanside.
Okay.
Yep. And I guarantee you amazing dinner, amazing food,
Okay. We'll have to go there. We've been spending a lot of time in Del Mar.
There you go.
So we'll make a little drive up.
Yep. Come up to the hood in Oceanside.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Maddie and Matt.
Thank
you. We'll see you Sunday night, and Cal 300 coming up. And I don't know, my money's on Maddie, I think, to take the W there. So
Putting in the work.
No pressure, but realize, like, you do win the first ever California 300. That's pretty important, right?
I mean, we're putting in the work. We're going in after work and after school since we're going to college full time. So we're showing up on weekdays, testing the car. We're going every weekend testing the car.
What's your degree in? What are you going to school for?
Business administration.
Okay, same here. I did business administration with a minor in marketing.
Okay, mine is management.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's cool. I mean, we get to learn a little bit about everything, and I like it. I really enjoy it.
We're talking sushi, Britt. Matt literally just said Sunday night, he goes, it is the best sushi we will ever have. He literally said that. And I was like, I don't know, the one in Seattle, it's pretty darn good.
I wouldn't argue because I've had sashimi out in Hammertown that he's brought in before, and that was amazing. And when you're getting like rock sushi and dirt sushi, and it's that good, like I'm not going to second guess it.
And we also learned while you were gone, bringing me Coca-Cola.
Oh yeah, I came back, by the way.
Yeah, Britt's back. Maddie's as scared as the ocean as you are. I'm like, Britt's one. She'll go sit on the beach and wave at me from like drink a beer and watch me in the water. I'm like, Maddie's the same way, but she's same as you. I said, so Britt and I take the boat and we go to Havasu. She's like, oh, I'm in.
Unless there's a fish.
Unless
I'm
there's
out.
a fish, yeah.
Oh, see, I'm not scared of, like, the fish. Like, I mean, I'll catch a fish. Like, I don't care.
Well, Britt will catch a fish. She just doesn't.
But, I'll just hand you the pole and
Yeah.
make you take it, because I don't like those wormy, squiggly, slimy.
They taste so darn good.
Oh, I love eating them. Don't get me wrong. But.
Fish or fish or food, not friends.
There you go.
Yeah.
I said I think Britt likes seafood only because you hate fish so bad in the water. You're like, yeah, screw you. I'm going to eat you.
Stab.
Stab.
I dig it.
This is a sweet off-road show, Jim.
Yeah, right?
I leave, you guys are talking about Pro Armor bumpers and the Cali 300. I come back and you're talking about
Fish.
Oh, you missed a lot.
It's my fault.
Yeah.
It's just everything turns to talk about food.
It's
Anybody
okay.
that's listened to this show since the reboot knows that it's very loosely motorsports based.
I say it's motorsports-ish.
Ish.
Well,
yes.
so, you've been around the show a little bit. Let's talk about some of the cool stuff here. I'm going to start because I saw something really cool that I'm really hyped on. So, S&S, who's known for all their Harley exhausts and all their different Harley stuff that they do, they're in this market now, and they have couple exhaust systems, which is cool. That's not what I'm excited about. They now have a turbo kit for the KRX, right?
Really?
And I went over there and talked to the guys, and I'm like, they ran me through everything, and I'm like, well, how much horsepower does this add to the KRX? And he's like, a little bit more than double.
Because I know the Kraftwerk.
That's humble. Like
the Kraftwerk supercharger is 60% increase.
Wow.
That's a little bit more than double.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dang.
So I was like, okay, I'm in, So that was cool. That was one of the cool things I've seen here. Anything else you guys have seen?
We haven't seen a whole lot, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, from what little, I haven't had a chance to walk because Sunday's usually our walk day because
Right.
it slows down a little bit. But so far, see you, Maddie.
Bye.
She's got to get back to work slinging harnesses. No, the bike they brought, the Supercross bike, that limited edition thing is beautiful.
have you seen the Cowie bike? They only made like 500 of them.
No, I didn't see that.
So Cowie, it's called what is it? The
Unicorn bike?
Yeah, I call it the unicorn bike. They basically took a Supercross bike and put it into mass production. Well, not mass production, but light production. It sold out
nice.
immediately. And I don't know, these dealers are probably getting crazy markups. So they've got one sitting over in the booth, and it's literally, you can buy a Supercross bike from Kawasaki.
And it's only like 12, 13 grand, too. Like, for what it is. It's unbelievable.
The exhaust on it's $1,500.
Badass.
It's it's a titanium carbon fiber exhaust, and it's like, it's crazy, but it's literally.
I think they're going to be surprised with how many people want that.
I
well,
think
he already said, he's like, we can't, that's our biggest deal, and because they're only making under 1,000 of them.
Right.
He's like, literally, it's out of control how in demand it is.
Oh, yeah.
And they put an electric start on it. I'm like, holy crap! This is what that's my biggest deal. I've always been on the 250X or whatever. I like the electric start, and it's like now they put that on the Supercross bike. Like, oh god! I told her I was like, we need one of these.
That's just straight up luxurious.
Yes.
Oh,
Electric
yeah.
starts, right? So it's like one of those things. You're getting old when that's what you want. But
her and I
it's
talk
still-
about.
Well, I do it because I'm short. So for me to have to kickstart something when I'm on a single track and I'm halfway up a hill bulldogging and it dies on me, I just don't want to kill myself hyperventilating trying to get it back down.
Right?
It's just short people problems for me, but
I'm just lazy. I just get tired of kicking things over.
Nice.
So
no, it's that, and then I'm trying to think. I mean, the Terra Crew setup's cool over there. Just that because I've got a few buddies that are running it, so they're loving it just because you know how it is when somebody gets to put their car in a booth and they get stoked just by having their car in the show, but to actually be able to go out and do demos and stuff, that's something new.
Oh, when you go over to the Vision Wheel, have you been by there yet?
No.
When you sneak over there, Vision does have, it's not on display, but it's in the back. If you ask to see it, Todd will show you, but that carbon fiber UTV wheel is here in the flesh.
Nice.
So that's kind of cool.
That's very cool.
So, I don't know.
I'm trying to think of what else. Now I want to go see the turbo.
Yeah, no,
Find out more
literally
on
you and I
that,
are like, okay, we definitely have that penciled in.
The Stasic, but again, I'm being biased just because.
Electrode.
Oh, gosh. Yes. You know what I mean? I don't know why.
I'll trim that clip, Britt.
Well, there's excuse me. There's a bunch of the e-bikes here too, which is kind of interesting. See them make the transition over here. Like, where do those belong? Do they belong here in power sports, or do we put them in the bike shops? Right.
It is the in between, but there's crossover. Like, you go to the auto shows, and then the boat shows, and there's off road at the boat shows, and there's boats at the power sports, and then there's NHRA that have this. So everything's kind of. I mean, I bought my Cutcos at an NHRA race.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think we're all kind of into the same thing at this point. So the answer to it is yes, maybe.
Well, of course, but yeah, I'm looking at these e-bikes across from us, going, that could be useful in a lot of situations.
Well,
bar crawl down in Oceanside.
Oh yeah. No.
And here's actually this is a legitimate question because, I mean, we've got Britt and I have UTVs, we got dirt bikes, we've got a jet ski now, but I skateboard. She'll skateboard occasionally, but it's like, dude, wake surfing, action sports, bike riding, like snowmobiling, snowboarding. Like we do all of it. You know what I mean? So is it to the point where it's almost do we have to have these power sports / action sports shows all in one?
It's fun.
Because everybody I know in the industry does all the same things.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of crossover. In fact, another bike I saw here in person, it's the first time seeing it in person, and I can't wait to go try one, is the Vulcan Grunt. You see that?
We had a pre-order on one of those.
Yeah, they look pretty rad. I mean, like, perfect pit bike for getting around to, all the stuff in Glamis and, all around, at races and stuff like that. And it's all electric, so you're just kind of zipping around with no big noise or anything. Super easy to drive. So I'm curious to try one of those.
And for me, I feel like that's kind of where everything's trending, because we're seeing the EV jump, and then we're also seeing the resistance, especially in the motorsports, power sports side of things.
Sure.
But there is a fit for it.
Yeah.
And we've had that talk. My electric lawnmower, I love my Ryobi. I never have to deal with mixing fuel or dealing with it dying.
She's got me hooked on the thing.
I literally just go walk
I love mowing
up
the
and
lawn
go.
in Cedar because it's just it's just.
But it's the same with the pit bikes. They're easy. They're light. You plug them in. There's a spot for it, and I don't think it's where everybody was necessarily expecting it to be when everything kind of took off.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We have one of the sponsors of the California 300 is Ubco, and they have a really cool bike. So it's two-wheel drive. So it's got a little bit more grip and stability, especially off-road. Pretty wide tire on the thing, and then utility back for it so you can load it up with stuff. And they're actually going to be doing demos at the California 300, so you can get on the bike and try it. I would suggest, though, because we've been getting hammered with requests, sign up online ahead of time so you reserve your spot for a demo, because we're going to have 3 days of demos of them. So that'll be cool. See how those work in the dirt up there, too.
Do they breathalyze you before they sign the waiver? Because that will decide on what time I'm setting up my sign-ups for.
Really?
Right?
The live stream at the Mint or at the Cal 300, are we allowed to drink Coca-Cola?
Yeah, well, we're actually going to put it right next to the beer tent. So we do have beer. In fact, we did a deal with Belching Beaver and did a co-branded
I saw
beer.
that. I was like, so
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, Jim.
they need me as an ambassador, at least for one event.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was so stoked.
We have to do that intro with the boss guy over there. This is Jim Beaver. He's our live stream host. Belching Beaver.
It was an easy deal to do. I presented it to them, and the owner goes, "Can I bring my UTV?" That's all he wanted to do. He's like, "Can I bring my UTV?" I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Then we're doing it." So, no, excited for that. We have a bunch of beer and food vendors. So
one of the problems I'll say is Sunday night's going to be kind of the first foray into this, but I'm like, the problem we have is me and Brittney love sushi, me and Brittney love beer, and me and Brittney love wine, and Matt loves sushi, beer, and wine. And I'm like, this is going to be a bad dynamic with us hanging out because we all like the same stuff, and it's like, this could be a slippery slope, dude.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be some
I mean, we've already planned our trip to Mexico.
Yes, we just need to pick a weekend on that.
And a fishing trip. We got a deep-sea fishing trip planned.
Pete did call me out. So I was like, yeah, Matt. I was like, call him the other day. And he goes, yeah, I was with you. And Matt goes, yeah, I can't talk. And he shows me the picture of the fish. And I was like, this guy. And Pete goes, what are you talking about? I called you and you and Brittney sent a picture of you on a jet ski. And I was like, fair enough. And we did the same thing. Pete called me out on it. So It was after we ganged up on him for the
when
first
we
15.
all the stuff we quote unquote have to do, right?
Yes.
Like, what do you have to do this week, Matt? Work wise.
This week is all California 300.
Yeah.
I just got back from Michigan. We are shooting a project with GM Defense.
So you had to go out there and do that, right?
Yeah, it was difficult.
Yes.
No, actually, it was a lot of fun. It was long days.
Flint to me would have been interesting. Just you guys going to Flint, like that's something that was peak of the news. Everybody heard about it, and then you hear nothing about Flint.
Well, it's funny because I'm from Michigan originally, from Kalamazoo, on the west side, and man, like I have a soft heart for the people in Michigan because they have had a rough time, even now. Like, going to Flint is just a reminder of how economically depressed parts of the country are, and how lucky I am to live in Southern California. I'm like, I wake up in the morning, my yard looks like a tropical garden, and it's 70 degrees always, right? And the beach is less than a mile away, and we have the deserts, and we have all this beauty and opportunity. So it was a little reminder of how good we had it. We had a little bit of rain, which we were not used to. We're all walking around looking at, we're scouting the area we were going to shoot, and it just started dumping, and we're totally unprepared for that, so we got soaked. But no, it was good, and we had a real good shoot with those guys, and they're building vehicles for our soldiers that are really off-road capable. So I was stoked to be a part of it and see that that stuff going, see the transfer of off-road technology going into the military.
Which is getting more and more common,
Yes.
too.
Yes. Well, Polaris on their whole side, I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like, you look at some of their stuff they make for the military.
Yeah, the
and this goes back to Chenoweth. I mean,
Yeah.
Chenoweth way back when we're making buggies that were in Desert Storm and things like that.
I'm so glad you brought that up because Chenoweth was the OG. I mean,
they were the originals that did this, and then Rod Hall with the Hummers came in and did some stuff, and but it's like.
But Chenoweth, like, that was that was the OG buggy, and without Lynn and all the people that worked with him, and there were other buggy builders as well. I got to acknowledge Funco especially.
Yeah.
But without those buggies and without their engineering that they started, we wouldn't have UTVs. So it is the same platform. It's just tweaked a little bit and obviously improved in many ways and mass produced. But yeah, like the Polaris M-Razor, that's been being used in combat now, I think, 10 years, right?
I know, isn't it?
So those things are beasts, too.
Yeah.
Well, they had that one, right, that was actually racing the circuits.
Yeah.
And they were coming out, and wasn't it a vet-based, and they brought out one of the military ones, and they were out racing it.
Yeah, they haven't raced the Mint yet in an M-Racer, but we've had Flyer Defense race with us. We've had Oshkosh race with us and a few of the other manufacturers. So, our that's part of our military challenge where we essentially raise funds for different, military organizations. And the big one being Warfighter Made. Robert and his team there do a fantastic job of rehabbing and helping wounded veterans that have come back from war and are dealing with PTSD and physical injuries. That's just always going to be a thing, right? So us as good Americans need to recognize that and make sure that we're taking care of them, because they definitely are taking care of us and making sure that we continue to have the freedoms that we have in this country.
Yeah, well, Britt and I were talking. We had a good friend Paul Thacker, who's snow legend. He was on with us a month ago, right before Cranon, and he was talking about he works with Monster, and he does a lot similar to Warfighter Made. He takes veterans out on snowmobile trips and things like that, and he works a lot with Chris Burant.
Yeah.
And Monster behind the scenes does a lot. People don't realize it, but they do a lot, for these veterans rides. And Thacker was saying the same thing. You know what I mean? It's one of those where he doesn't publicly post about it very much, things like that. It's something he does because his heart's in the right place. But it's like, man, the life-changing stuff that, these people can do with these veterans coming home that do have PTSD and things like that. It's like, a lot of us don't want to talk about it, but it's like, man, it's real. And there are organizations, that are out there and, they're trying to, what do they call it, adrenaline therapy, things like that,
Yeah.
But they're also, it's because they're right here. They're in our circles, right?
Yes.
We all know somebody that's personally served. We all know family members that have had. So we see it, we identify it, and I do think it's neat that it stays as something active that everybody tries to do within our community. And I love those programs.
Well, what's funny is, so when my brother and I were researching the history of off-road racing, first with the Mint and then, even the Baja 1000, which were the two events that really started all this, right? So in 1967, the Eakins brothers ran the Peninsula, and they were World War II vets. They were back here. They're like, man, this is boring. Let's do something crazy. And that spawned the whole thing. And then, the guys that were promoting the Mint Hotel, actually the whole world saw that because of the amount of press that they got. But the guys that were promoting the Mint Hotel at the time, Norm Johnson, Mel Larson, and then later on KJ Howe were like, man, that's a good idea. So they sent, two racers from Vegas to Reno Tahoe in buggies. And those two guys that drove the buggies were World War II vets, right? So our culture was really founded by veterans, and they've been a part of our culture in supporting racing and racers. Even to this day, we've got a lot of military that's part of the chase teams, some of them that race. So it's part of our DNA, and we just, we with the Mint and everything else, California 300 too, we're right next to Fort Irwin and 29 Palms, so all those guys are coming, guys and gals are coming out for the race. And they want to do flyovers.
I was going to say, Edwards is right there, too.
They're like, I'm like, let's do it all, and then my brother goes, we don't have insurance for that, So whatever we can insure, we're going to do, so we can keep doing it. But, it's really cool, and to me it's important. We live next to Camp Pendleton, and I have a lot of friends in the military, and I see, the effect that it has on them when they, get recognized and also have some sort of support. We've got a lot of young people who've come back from Afghanistan and Iraq and different rotations with, missing limbs and, damage to them from IEDs. And those are the physical injuries we can see, as well as PTSD. And, they just need a little hand, right? And we should be more than willing to do that for them because, of the sacrifices that they've made for our freedom.
Well, it's interesting, too, like on the background, not just the physicality is, and it goes both ways, because we know a handful of people, we all do, that have taken their military background and been able to apply it here. Like, we've got a friend that actually does, like, psychology and PTSD treatment and stuff with those that have been in, like, off-road or racing accidents or traumatic car crashes, and they were able to take their therapy because they were lucky, did get the support when they came back, and they're able to take what they've learned and turn it into something and bring it into our industry and help some of our guys.
Sure. No, absolutely. I mean, look, you really want to analyze it. Off-road racing is a war simulation. So it's the closest thing that we're going to get to war. And if you run it like a military runs their operation, you're going to be successful. If you're disciplined, if you're organized, and you're prepared, you're going to be successful. If you're not, you're going to have a hard time.
And there's a little bit of fight or flight in there, too.
Yeah, there's definitely fight or flight in there, but you find out, it's interesting because I watch it all the time with friends and family, and you find out quickly what people are made of when you put them in that type of stressful situation,
That's such an interesting, it's such a different way to look at it, but you're so on the money.
Well, and there's, like you said, like it's funny because it's been brought up multiple times, but I'm like, at Vegas Torino, we had Maddie here, and Jamie Campbell, Maddie, and us had a three-way race for 400 miles, and we were all within 25 seconds of each other for 400 miles.
Which is incredible.
And all of us raced clean, but it was white knuckle, nobody making a mistake. Pits were down to a T. Like, it was one of those where it was just like, if you could have, and we were battling for like fifth place at the time because we all kind of didn't have good qualifying runs. But I'm like, that race within the race was like, it was crazy. And afterwards, we were all talking about it. But it's like the intensity of stuff like that. I mean, I remember like Silver State, there's a 30-mile stretch through the trees, and you're literally driving at 100%. There's no room for air. There's no runoff room. And, you get done with that, and it's like there's a decompression. It's like there's – the adrenaline is just absolutely nuts,
Well, and to your point, like, that's, in 400 racers, like, there's multiple races within races, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this form of motorsport is, like, everybody is racing their race. You know, the Class 11 guy, in his head, his race is as important as Bryce Menzies battling B.J. Baldwin, right?
Yeah, he's racing the pits. He's just trying not to time out at each section. It's his race.
And then you start moving up this like the speed ladder of all the different classes, and it's like there's these battles going on in every single class, and then interclass battles, right? Of the UTVs at this point now are getting so fast. I think with this new platform, they're gonna break the threshold of the top 10, right? And I'm interested to see that, and how that transpires, because that new R, it's like that platform has a ton of potential, and as the horsepower gets evolved through turbos or through through superchargers, we'll see where that class goes.
Yeah, what, double the horsepower?
Right. Well,
no, I'm just laughing. I'm like, could you imagine?
Well, I got Robbie Gordon over here throwing numbers at me. He's like, well, it's still 999 cc's, so it's a UTV, but it's got a hell key and it's got this. And I'm like, what is the horsepower on that? And he's like, it's whatever. I can't remember what he said.
He's like, what do you want it to be?
It might as well be 600. That's what I heard. And I'm like, what? No, dude, that's not fair. You can't have double the horsepower of everybody. He goes, but the rules say, and I'm like, I know what the rules say, Robbie, but no.
It's funny. It's becoming more commonplace in power sports. The jet ski Britt and I took out with Kawasaki, it's got 2 keys. Yeah. It's got a slow key and a fast key.
And a backup camera.
310 horsepower jet ski.
Yeah, that's
supercharged.
That's supercharged. I'm like, this is madness.
I actually want to take one of those out in the ocean, right? That's where I think you can
John
really
takes them out there all the time.
Yeah, you can really stretch the legs on that thing.
But you grab throttle in that when you've got the fast key in, and it literally moves.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. Yeah, we have to give a little bit of love to our boy Robbie over there. He's got some of his new cars here. They look great. I'm really impressed with the level of commitment and detail he has. I mean, I don't think people understand how difficult it is to mass manufacture a vehicle. And everybody who gives him flack, I always joke. I go, hey, he's still ahead of Elon in the Cybertruck, right?
It's the space race down here, right?
Yeah.
But honestly, he did exactly what he said he was going to do, right? He said, I'm going to bring X amount of cars to Sand Show.
Yep.
And after the last however many months of back and forth, it was like a proud moment behind the scenes walking through and seeing it all. And I looked over at Jim, and I'm like, what's the count on that? I was like, I think he hit the mark. I was like, and you could just see the swarm. We had to walk through the crowd to get over here because everyone was just tripping on it.
Have you spent any time in one yet?
No.
So I was in Parker one weekend. I don't know what was going on. Britt was in Cedar, and I called her and told her, you'll never guess who just called me. And I said, Robbie Gordon, he wants me to go out and test speed cars with him. And so I literally went out and spent some time with him out in the desert. And I got to tell you, Matt, I've never been in a UTV like that. And I have, Mona Lisa is probably one of the most accomplished UTV desert cars ever built.
Sure.
It literally is. Between what we did and Mitchie the 2 years prior, and I got done with that, and I called Britt, and I was like, I just experienced what's next. And I'm like, our race car holds nothing. And I was just in a production car. It wasn't a race car. It was just their production car. And I'm like, our race car can't touch this.
It's a race production car. Let's be
that's
real.
What it is.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a Raptor R of UTVs.
Yeah. It's very interesting, and I'm excited for them. And I think it's going to push the market. I think one of the things that I really like about it is, speaking to a specific user base, right? So like the Raptor really proved this model. When Ford brought the Raptor out, they were like, wrong time, it's too expensive. They were really worried about,
I own one.
Yeah.
You have? You've owned what, 2?
So, and not just in America, but all over the world, it's literally become a status symbol, right? And, now they're going further with it with the Bronco, and now the Bronco Raptor. Which I really want them to call the Braptor, because I think that would be
that has what I've been calling
right?
it, so
Braptor,
that's great.
Right? I think we need to make badges for it.
I feel like we're being singled out, Britt. We've got a Raptor, we've got a Bronco. Like, Matt's just going down our lineup.
Well, I mean, we already know the Raptor R's pre-order.
Don't bring up an STI Subaru, or you just like.
Well, but what I think it does. I mean, look, I think we've done a lot of work with Polaris. They have amazing products. the Polaris platform is the one that I've driven the most, the one that I like the most currently. But then when you look at, what Robbie's doing, I'm very interested to see, how the consumers respond to it and what is the base,
It is the theme, though. We're seeing that more and more, right? Like you're saying, with these specialized vehicles.
Yeah.
And he's taking it, and basically, if I were going to do it, he's not dealing with the typical corporate constraints of, well, financially, this doesn't make sense. He's saying, no, if we're going to do it, this is how we are. And everyone's kind of sat back and watched and said, well, okay, let us know how that went. But now, like Cowie, we were talking about with the limited edition Supercross bike.
Sure.
Like, you're seeing these production models that are coming out and being specialized, and they're set for a specific niche.
Sure.
And there is a market for it.
Well, and I think it just gets everybody excited about that market. Like, it reminds me of what Nike did with shoes, where, they put out these shoes that are like, purple alligator skin, whatever, that only Brittney's going to buy.
Yeah.
I was going to say a pimp, but, now I can just replace that in my vernacular with Brittney. So
everyone who knows me knows they're like, all right, Sand Sports, but that's been my deal for 10 years is every time right before Sand Sports, because my shoes last like a day.
Right.
So I always get a brand new set of shoes right before Sand Sports.
Nice. But that's their that's their strategy to get everybody talking about the brand and the product, and then usually the consumer goes, yeah, that's cool, I'll take the black ones.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to happen a little bit with these more advanced sport model cars. People are gonna look at them and go, yeah, it's a Ferrari, I want the next level down, but it still will stimulate the conversation and showcase the performance capabilities of the vehicles. That's the thing that I always talk to people about is like, you want the biggest bang for your buck, the most fun for your dollar, go get a UTV. You're going to have so much fun, I guarantee.
Auto industry's done that for years. I mean, you've got, just take the Mustang. They've got the GT500, $100,000 car. And then they've got the Mustang GT, which is the V8 version of it that's, $45,000 car. They use the flagship, everybody goes, that's awesome, but I'll take the GT because that's half the price or whatever, So it's commonplace, everybody does it. It's just
that's the practicality of UTVs, though. That's why they've gained popularity despite every, we've all been around it, and we've had the diehard Glamis guys and the diehard trophy truck guys and the diehard dirt bike guys, and they would never break down 10 years ago. They're like, golf carts and this and that. And throughout the years, as everything's progressed, they've all ended up with them. Everyone that has sat there and said, I'll never, they all now have one in their camper because it's so versatile. And that's why I say, if all you're going to do is go out and do the drags all day long, go get a drag car. If all you're going to do is only go to do rocks, get an Ultra 4. There's better out there, but to have an all-encompassing and be able to have the wife and the kids get in it and run here, be able to use it as a utility or whatever, there is nothing else that's like it out there.
Well, it was funny. We had it was a weird kind of bittersweet moment. We had, 2 months ago, Britt? Trophy truck sold. And it was one of those, I did a lot of the fab work, welding and everything, myself on it. And it was sold that knowing I'm probably never going to own a trophy truck again. And so, but I was actually completely good with it because we have so much fun in the side-by-sides. It was it was bittersweet, but it really wasn't at the same time. It was a weird thing, but the industry's come that far. 10 years ago, if you would have thought, asked me, I would
sell that trophy truck for a Rhino.
Yeah, no, but now it's I don't know. I'm more excited about our KRX build with a supercharger and long travel that we've got going that we're going to debut at UTV Takeover.
The thing about UTVs that I love is you're gonna take that build, you're gonna do 5,000 miles in that thing before it's done at least, right?
Yeah.
So you're just getting more time and more fun, than anything else. And trust me, if I was at the point where I could just race a trophy truck, I definitely would. I plan on doing some of that racing in the future, but I'm totally fine racing a
trophy
UTV.
truck, you look at it and just start throwing $100 bills.
Oh, of course.
And it's UTV, you
Wait, hold on. You can afford to look at it?
Especially,
no, we couldn't. That's why we sold it, Brett.
Especially now with the evolution of four-wheel drive. I mean,
a
couple weeks ago we spent, a day, or a couple days actually shooting the new Jimco. And what an incredible build. I mean, they've sunk 2 years and about $1.5 million into building that truck, and I can't wait to ride in it. But all the Masons that are being built, they've just upped the game so much to the point where it's like you pretty much have to have one of those, a four-wheel drive truck to compete. Although you have Mr. Arciero out there spanking everybody at Vegas Torino in a two-wheel drive truck, but
there's always a wild card.
But he's no ordinary driver, right? No.
And Ryan and Rob, dude, McCachran and Arciero, those dudes.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, there always has to be a wild card that's thrown in there.
But that Herbst, that Smith Herbst platform is incredible.
Oh yeah,
it does like 160 on the dry lake beds. It's with that big block engine in it. It is fast. So
and Ryan's race and prep and like setup IQ is genius level.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah.
Like I said, I put Ryan and Rob literally on the same platform. I mean, those guys they know their stuff.
No, 100%.
But the progression on the technology is same as what we've talked about. Is like literally what was a trophy truck isn't a trophy truck anymore. Like, they've just gone and changed so much, and Unlimited really is truly unlimited. I'm waiting for one that has got a rocket ship motor or something on it next to show up, because they just more insane, like watching the tire changing and stuff, and it's all hydraulic, automatic. Like, it's just in 10 years watching how much that the Unlimited classes have progressed from anywhere from Class 1 to Trophy to UTV. Like, across the board, everything just keeps stepping its game up.
Do you remember Ashley and Smith, their last year they raced?
Yeah.
They went, the whole Ford power plant program went away, so they took that single-seat truck, and they they went to Ford in the drag racing program, and they put a pro stock drag motor in their trophy truck. And they detuned it, because those things are like 2,000 horsepower. So they detuned it to like 1,500 horsepower. That thing was the wildest thing. When they got on the gas to watch them race, like I remember watching the start at the Terriblestown 250, or maybe it was qualifying or something, and that truck was literally it was like they were riding a bull. Like, it was uncontrollable, but it was uncontrollable in the raddest way possible. It was so out of control but in control at the same time.
It was like a Group B trophy truck.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was literally. I was like, if I could ever drive one truck, it would have been that truck with that motor, just because it was just nutty.
Yeah, no, for sure. I remember that truck. That and then the other.
They
one
would have had all-wheel drive. It probably would have been really, really good. But just that power to two wheels, it was like a drift truck.
Yeah, it just did wheelies basically. Hey, no, it's really cool. I mean, that's what's rad about this sport is like. At the top level, there are no rules. What can you build?
You never know what's going to show up. That's what I love.
Josh Daniel when he had the twin-turbo trophy truck.
Yeah,
and,
and Dale Dondell's truck, his current.
Oh, gosh. Dale is just a nutcase in the best possible way.
I know, it's right. He calls me. He's like, he aptly named his truck Big Booty Judy,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So he goes, hey, Matt, it's Dale. I said, hey, Dale, how you doing? He goes, well, Big Booty Judy's coming to race. So, okay, Dale. Awesome, right? I go, I'd really like to hand you that first overall and be historic. So
how many times have you guys had to create a class for like a specific vehicle and something one-off like that, or have you always been able to kind of fit them one way or another into a class?
We're down to create new classes. It's funny because people go, oh, God.
No, and that's why I'm asking, because we've had a few people say it, and we're like, call Matt, get it figured out, because he's all on board for having shenanigans, like, as long as you're safe.
Yeah, she it's one of those things where people call us up, like, I was just talking to the gentleman who has it's a Mercedes over there in the BFG booth, and he's like, we want to come race it. Can we come race it? I said, yes. We have a kind of a catch-all class. That's what you remember last year, the limo came and raced with us. And that's really the spirit.
Which has Jim called you yet? Because he's got another idea for this year.
Yeah, Jim York. We love Jim.
Well, that's part of the spirit of the Mint and off-road racing is, run what you brung, but also it should be fun. Like in the history of the Mint, they raced limos, they raced a tank, they raced RVs, lots of sedans. Like, I still get photos from random people, and they're like, did you know that, somebody raced a whatever in this year at the Mint, and here's a photo. I'm like, yep. That's pitching.
There was the one year at the Baja 1000, they raced, what was it, an international semi-truck or a Kenworth semi-truck? There's pictures of it. There was a semi-truck that raced the Baja 1000. I got to pull up pictures.
At Nora, there's 2 Rasta vans that come out.
Right.
Full-on Rasta vans, no doors, anything, and they went out and pre-ran the peninsula one time on their own.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is so much cooler of a situation, so they come out with the wife and the kids.
Cummings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that raced the Baja 1000.
That'd be a little bit hard to get through the trees.
No, but I mean that's what you love, though.
I mean, we know I'm all for things that shouldn't be, so I'm on board. I love it.
I mean, I'm down with that stuff. I mean, I think that's one of the most important things about our culture is that we are the platform for proving new technologies. You know, we've been having a lot of discussion with EV companies, and you know, the company that I think is going to be the first one to come and compete in the Min is Volcon with their new UTV. So it's going to be really interesting. You know, we've a couple of years ago we announced that we have an EV class. We sent it to all the EV manufacturers. We invited them to come and compete, and so far nobody's picked up the sword. So we'll see what happens. But I don't care if it's a EV powered car, or if it's a diesel powered car, or if you're powering it with frickin' recuperated grease from the grease trap.
There's been propane stuff in off-road before. There was propane.
Field testing, though. Yeah. That's what I always say. We always say, like, everything works great in theory, and you can throw it through a CAD program and do all this stuff and cycle it and throw it through hours of whatever. But the unknown, until somebody takes whatever, regardless of manufacturer, style, or anywhere from 2 wheels to 5 or 18, until you get it out there and you try and run an actual off-road race, that really is, like you said, they don't know how far they're going to get.
No, and our attitude is we want people to come and race, and regardless of what they're racing, and we'll make room for them. There's a point where it gets ridiculous where you're splitting classes up and sub-splitting classes, and we're having a little bit of challenge with that right now with the UTVs in particular, because other race organizations have allowed things that we don't allow. And speaking specifically of the rally class, is that was a stock class that we created to get more people out racing, and we put some basic parameters around it, and then other organizations allowed them to put aftermarket steering in it and aftermarket diffs and aftermarket stuff, and we're like,
or some people start using it as a pre-runner class.
Yeah, that's not the point.
No,
the point is to keep the cost down. If you want to go, it's an entry level class. If you want to go race hard against the big boys and girls, you move to Pro NA or Pro Turbo, or even now Pro Unlimited. There's lots of room there for you to race. The rally class is intended for new people to come and try the sport and have a good time, and not get shellacked by Wayne Matlock or whoever it would be, right? And to keep it fun. So that's our viewpoint. It's like we want people to come and race, and if they have a vehicle that they're not sure about, just call us up. And our biggest thing is safety. You're going to have to get past Bill Savage on safety. And
Savage is a good word.
Yeah, and he's not going to let anything fly. He'll send me photos. It's so funny. He doesn't ask me questions. He'll just send me a photo, and he goes, "We are not approving this." And I'm like, why are you saying we? You know what I mean? You're telling me we're not.
I remember the cam lock thing at the UTV Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
And literally, he was going to send 50 cars home. And I'm like, these are good for the Indy 500. Nope. And I'm like, they're good for score. They're not good here.
Yeah.
And again, it's hard to play that fine line, because I've had to play tech director.
Yeah, she was tech director of the Red Bull event.
And it's not fun, but the problem is when somebody rolls up with stuff when they've got a fire extinguisher duct taped to the cage, and I'm like, do I really have to explain why this is not going to pass right now? Please don't do this to me.
When you need to use it.
And I don't want to be the gatekeeper of fun. I don't want to tell you can't race, but we all want to race this time and the next time.
Yeah.
So let's not let you get hurt, because at the end of the day, we're not doing this to be a difficult time. We're doing this to make sure that you're safe and you can come back to the next race. So it is hard to have something to keep it so it's attainable and let the average person come out.
Yeah, I don't want to turn anybody away, right? But, we got to keep people safe. I mean, we've seen some cages come in and we're like, yeah, that's not going to fly, So, but yeah, we hate disqualifying people, but we've got to keep people safe. We have this thing called insurance that we've got to maintain, so that
Big Brother's always looking.
Well, when and if somebody gets hurt, that their medical out of the wherever we're racing is covered, right? We have no insurance, we have no racing, right?
Well, I mean, not to go down a rabbit hole here, but the whole Cali 300, this is a huge milestone to bring racing back to Barstow.
Yes.
And so for exactly like you said, you have to kind of dot your dot your I's and T's and Z's and whatever. Uh-oh, we got shenanigans over here. We just got gifted some White Claws.
That's Miss Slade there, by the way.
But, yeah, no, and that's the hard thing of having that balance of fun. And you guys really have been able to do certain things because you do it the correct way. But also, like I said, that's why, because a lot of people just assume, hey, I can't do this. And that's why I was curious, because we've seen some interesting things run throughout the years.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it is at Mint. And so that's why I was curious if it was always different classes, and having that catch-all class, I think, really kind of opens it up, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, like, there's a new Bronco coming that's race spec, right?
Yeah.
And that'll create its own class because they decided to do some interesting things, like, namely, they put a V8 in a truck body that normally has a V6 in it, so can't fall within Class 7. So it's going to be its own class, and we're fine with that, right?
Hey, I'm all about the V8s coming back because I've still been holding on to my Gen 1 Raptor because I haven't been ready to go back down, so I'm liking the trend that way.
Yeah.
It's a constant conversation with us on the Raptor.
It's like, well, but
do we get rid of it?
But you're watching this whole cycle, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone's doing EV, and then at the same time, it's like, cool, well, if we're going to keep gas, then we're really going to keep it back up here and bring it back.
This is the balance, though, is like, I think that, everybody's like, oh, everything's going to get wiped out. It's only going to be electric. I don't think so.
No.
I think that...
well, in the state of California,
it depends on what day.
Well, we'll see there, too. You never know.
We got an Arizona, Utah address, buddy. Anytime you need to change the driver's license, just let us know.
Well, I think half of California already moved to Havasu, so,
And the other half to Utah. So.
And, rest to Texas. So
Britt and I are loving it. Our two houses are going through the roof in value.
Yeah, but Matt's he's on an island standing alone. We might be having to move in with you guys soon.
Yeah. But, I really think that what it does is it shifts the value to making our form of racing even more valuable.
Yes. No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. I'm kind of loving watching it split because they're bringing back the rawness of it.
Yeah.
Well, did you see the thing the federal government was trying to sneak in, and literally Republicans, Democrats, everybody are actually together on it, but it's that new one where it makes it illegal to take a production vehicle and make it a race car. Have you been following that?
Yeah.
I actually had to do write a quote for. What's happening?
Get in the chair, man.
Jon, come on.
Well, you're talking to Jim, Britt, and Matt.
About what?
You want a White Claw?
Okay.
We're talking EVs, and I don't know.
the development and where it's going, and how Power Sports is bringing back V8s at the same time they're bringing EVs.
I gotta go.
You're not a
V8. Nobody's doing a V8.
we're talking about she said Power Sports off-road in general. Like with the Raptor, went to the 6-cylinder, now it's coming back to the V8s. Like V8s are making kind of a resurgence everywhere but California.
I just bought a V6, so shut up.
No. I'm still holding on to my Gen 1.
Because I'm like, shocks make you fast. I don't need all that power. I just need the shocks to work right.
When he's got to sit in all that traffic, really need that V8.
I don't know which way to go here.
Well, just switch hit there.
I was going to say, you just said you go both ways. Like
Are we live somewhere?
No, we're recording.
No.
All right,
we know better than to do that at Sand Sports on Saturday afternoon.
All right, I'm going to relax then.
Yeah, no, we can trim anything we want.
What have we got Matt Martelli in here for?
We're talking Cal 300.
There's talking
nice.
And sushi and
sushi.
Fishing.
I love the stuff you've been putting up about the 300, about which line do you want?
Yeah. No, thanks. I mean,
that's badass.
That area, right? Like, that's one thing. One of the many things I love about you, Jon, is like you actually go out and off-road, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of these guys who are like, they do the tests with the manufacturers. They might do a couple 100 miles a year. You're always out there riding.
Well, one of the first times I saw you out in Barstow was for the Arctic Wildcat intro in 2011.
Yeah.
Does that date us?
Yes.
That's like what half the show is, by the way.
I don't know if you remember, but I asked the guy.
Oh, yeah, you launched it.
I said, look, I go, who has the dealership in El Cajon? He goes, where's El Cajon? And I'm like, I tried to get them to sell me the dealership, and I'm glad he didn't follow up because obviously that platform wasn't the future platform.
But
at the time.
The interesting thing is Arctic Cat just came out with a press release recently. and that same Arctic Cat was just like refreshed.
Yeah.
From 2011.
Yeah.
No, and that's more than a decade.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, though, because one thing that I remember very clearly about that day was understanding how remarkable these little vehicles are and how inexpensive. Because I think they were retailing at that point for $12,000. And I was like, look, you can't have this suspension on a vehicle currently for under $100,000, you know? So at that point, I just kind of went home and was like, okay, this is going to change everything. You know?
It was pretty mind-blowing for the time. Yeah. The suspension was kind of next level, so, yeah. But, yeah, 2011 was a long time ago. What else do we want to talk about?
I mean, we can talk more outdated stuff. We were talking about, like, I think the first sand sports show I went to was 2007, 8. We were one of, like, 3 golf carts here. We got looked at like we were the oddballs because now it's the side-by-side super show, but back then it was the sand show.
They should change the name.
Yeah, no, I legitimately don't know why it hasn't been changed yet. Right. And I get it, like the legacy of it, but it's like
branding.
Yeah. Side-by-side super show would be because you're still SSSS.
Well, yeah, like, or the sand sport shit show is the other one. That's Friday night though.
Yeah.
This will be a good one. So I absolutely hate the moniker side-by-sides. Right? It doesn't make any sense to me. I always thought UTVs make that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why you have UTV Underground and I have UTV Guide.
Right.
Yeah. We never bought into it, right?
Right.
Hey, but an RS1, how is that a side-by-side then?
It's
if you're
not.
Going off a day?
Yeah. It's not. It's a UTV. Yeah. See? We're more welcoming to the single-seaters than the side-by-side word.
All-encompassing, right?
Sure. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I just laughed. So this corner spot over here at the end of Pro Armor in Kicker, that was our original spot back then, 2007-8.
That's SSV Works.
Yeah.
Oh, they've been there forever.
Yeah, they're the ones that literally we were right next to them. We were slinging rhino doors.
Do you remember
pallets
the eucalyptus
and pallets
tree
of
that used to
rhino
be
doors.
Yeah, it used to be a big eucalyptus tree there that used to drop leaves and all kinds of crap.
Maybe that's why I thought they changed locations because now we're going to age even more. I didn't even know, like, I was still young enough to not realize what events were where because I wasn't driving. I just got sent to events. So we were talking about the first off-road expo.
Yeah, I was like, I went to the first off-road expo. So I was there, and I remember the booth or something, and I was like, but I don't remember you. And she's like, I hope you weren't checking out a 12-year-old.
And he goes,
I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, oh, Lord.
So
I was like 2021. She's like, I hope you weren't checking out a
First off-road expo, we still were doing the RC stuff as hardcore racing components, and this is before Traxxas or anybody else ever had their demos that were set up. And we would show up with an entire enclosed trailer, and my job, this is why it still stands to this day, was to sell shirts. That I got brought in, and I got X amount per shirt, and I was just supposed to sit there, and we went and built the track out by the big tree ring that they have out there, and it was just us and the beer tent. And he's like, yeah, I remember the beer tent and the cart and this and that. And he's like, you were there? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I didn't recognize you. Well, I was 12. I go, that would be kind of weird if you remember that.
No, still this day, literally, we can be in New York in meetings of CBS Sports, and she'll be like, yeah, I just sell shirts. So the only time I get to say I sell shirts is at King of the Hammers because I'm not OG like she is there. So then I just say I just sell shirts. I'm her support.
Right.
I just changed my hair color, and nobody can find me. So
you know what's funny is like I hate Pomona, right? Like
yes.
not just the
kind of an armpit.
Yeah. So
I didn't say that.
And I also have like a.
We all thought it though, so it's all right.
Like Pomona tried to kill Johnny Greaves. I don't know if you saw that race, but when Core dug up the parking
you just
lot,
dated yourself again.
I know.
I said this is half the show.
Core.
Yeah. When Championship Off-Road Racing at Pomona tried to kill Johnny Greaves, they built this track, and it was, all this back and forth like, oh, we're going to build the dirt track. It's going to be on the horse track. And no, you can't do that. And luckily, Jim Baldwin had more money than God at the time, and he did whatever he wanted, which was great for off-road. So he dug a hole in the parking lot, tore up the parking lot, and said, hey, we'll repave it and put it back when we're done. And everybody's like, are you crazy? And they built a pretty bitchin' track. It just was treacherous. And Johnny Greaves had one of his worst crashes there, so bad so he had detached his retinas, right?
Oh.
So he thought he had died because he couldn't see. He's like, okay, I'm blind, I can't see. Pretty terrifying. I was right there, and I just kind of become acquainted with Johnny, and I'm like, oh man, I definitely don't like Pomona.
Oh.
Just because of the hole in the parking lot that guy crashes in. All right.
This is a beautiful place to have. I mean, this is a beautiful place to have a trade show, though. It really is. I mean, we go to PRI and it's snowing in December. SEMA's a mess. Nobody likes going to SEMA anymore.
I'm surprised this is still a trade show. I mean, if you started putting houses on this, you know what this property is worth, right? So
they still have farm animals over there, by the way.
I know. It's crazy.
Well, so one year they put it in during COVID. It was in Scottsdale.
Right.
Yeah. For half a day?
Yeah, half a day.
For half a day?
I was flying in.
Whoopsie.
And I was getting on the plane because I couldn't make
so
it.
She was going to fly in, and I was going to go and meet her. And
I'm at the airport, and they shut it down.
I didn't drive in from Parker, and she didn't fly in because it was just shut down. And you had friends there like, don't come. Do not come.
That was nice, last year, right, where California still had the mandates, but then Orange County still had its own, specific not mandates. It was as if you're vaccinated, you didn't have to wear it. So, we were dreading coming back to California.
Was it last year or the year before here?
That's what I'm trying to remember.
I don't know.
But we were, stressed about coming because we hadn't been out here, and we show up, and it was actually normal.
Yeah, and then they shut down Orange County or something 2 days after Sand Sports or this venue. I don't know.
No coincidence there.
Glad that era of the world is over.
Anyways.
Yeah. Let's
what have you been up to, John? Let's talk about you. What have you been up to?
He's been down with COVID. No, actually, he has. He's one of the few people that I follow, and I'm like, damn, he's out riding again. I gotta go.
I don't let any grass grow under my feet.
You don't.
So next week, my wife and I are going hiking and backpacking in Yosemite.
They have alpacas, by the way.
We have alpacas, horses, alpacas.
A lot of people don't know that. I don't know if you know this or not.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, my point exactly. Yeah. I always send random videos of llamas and alpacas because they're awesome.
Yeah, we used to breed and do all that kind of stuff. I don't have any time for that anymore.
So this one, down the street in Cedar, there's this little farmyard. We're driving by the other day, and there's a llama in there. She literally slams on the brakes. Llama! She was so excited that there's a llama down the street.
Hold on.
Llamas are different than alpacas.
I know, but
that's why I said llamas and alpacas, and I still got it right when I said it. But my point is I live in a community called Old Farm, and they literally took a portion of the farm and they subdivided it with 30 lots.
You guys are all old? Stay over there?
Okay, cool. I'm good with that. That's fine. It's a nice little community that nobody knows is there, so as Cedar's growing and everything else, my neighbors are still cows and sheep. The only time in 5 years back when I actually had to do the 9 to 5 that I was late to work, they were herding sheep on the street. And I couldn't get to work.
I've driven home through Delta, Utah in the middle of a cattle drive.
Yes.
On Highway 50.
Yeah. No, that happens in our town.
I'm with my truck and enclosed trailer driving down, and No, I didn't beep, beep, beep. I just sat and waited until a guy on the horse, as they were doing the cattle drive on Highway 50 in the middle of nowhere, he looked back at me and he goes, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "All right, yeah." And he goes, "All right, stay right on my ass." And he cleared the way through me, parted the cattle and let us through. It was the weirdest thing ever. So I understand.
Yeah, we have a sheep parade in town.
Right, there you go.
So they might have been practicing.
How about
I don't
mutton
know,
busting? Do you know what that is?
They do have
mutton busting.
They got the rodeo and they have the mutton busting.
Mutton busting is the best for the kids.
Yes. It's almost like the ostrich races where you get to go ride the ostrich in Phoenix.
I think we should have adult mutton busting. Because I would love to see
I don't know what mutton, but I know what mutton is, because I know up in the Navajo res have mutton burgers and that, but what's mutton busting?
So the kids doing rodeo instead of getting on a bull or whatever.
You grab the sheep
they jump on a sheep and hold on to their wool and just
kids get yard sales.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it's a crack up.
It's my favorite Instagram account is kids getting hurt. Literally follow at kids getting hurt. And it's the funniest Instagram account because it's just all kids just. It's hilarious.
Just sidebar and stuff. No, I'm unfortunately, yes.
Kids getting hurt.
That's kind of evil. I don't know.
It's hilarious. You're going to go follow it.
Anyways,
I got enough Instagram accounts to follow.
I know, one of my MMA friends got me onto the Karen's Gone Wild one.
Yes!
Yes.
And it makes me happy during the day. I'm like,
yes.
all right, you know.
So my nickname was Karen for about 2 years. So after all my hair got
That's weird.
lost out, not because I was a raging bitch or anything.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And that's why I had to clarify. No, after Hammers, when I got sick and I ended up in the hospital and saw my hair fell out afterwards, and it was about that long. I had an awesome buzz cut. So this is, 6 years later, and it's barely now. But the fight, until it hit my shoulders, they all called me Karen. So we'd be out to dinner or something, and somebody didn't get what they're like, all right, Karen, go handle it.
Right. And you did.
I don't know where this segue's going.
We don't either.
It's not segue. It's like
That was not a segue.
It's like a dive.
I just didn't know what to follow it up with.
So back to mutton busting. Like that could be like an add-on to the Mint. Like we could throw some sheep around and.
Well, UTV Guide sponsor it.
No, I don't sponsor shit.
No, it's funny though. Like we had I can't remember the name of the guys. I should know because they're like super famous, and then they won the big rodeo that was going on at the same time as the Mint, and they came over to watch the Mint, and they were like, "Oh man, this is crazy. We definitely need one of these trophy trucks," And then they went and won the rodeo. So I love the crossover stuff.
Yeah. So funny thing, Steve Torrance, when he came into the whole Star Car thing,
Right.
He's literally last 5 years the number one drag racer in the world. Won all these races, everything else. So we go out. His mom's named Mama Kay, and this is one of the richest families in Texas, one of the biggest contracting companies, everything else. And so I go out, and I think it was Las Vegas, and it was like a couple months after the Mint. And we go out for the 4 wides and invited out there and, and gave us great treatment. And literally his mom, Mama Kay, everybody knows her, iconic, big Texas woman, has like the, all the like rhinestones on everything, big rings, like everything you would think, like Texas woman, she is that, right? So nobody in NHRA screws with this lady. Like she is the most powerful lady in the NHRA. And so like Steve's mom and everybody, oh, Mama Kay and everything. So I literally walk up and family's all, Steve's dad, give me high fives, hugs and everything else. And Mama Kay goes, Mr. Beaver, I need to talk with you. And she goes like this, and she's sitting in back in their hospitality. I'm like, everybody on the entire team's like, what the heck's going on? Silence.
They all just stand back?
No, they literally stand back, and I, like, got the finger. And I'm like, oh, crap, what did I do? Like, I don't even know this lady. And, like, she's intimidating. So I walk up, and I sit down. She goes, Mr. Beaver, and she points at the chair next to her. And I'm like, okay, because we have to have a talk. I go, okay, what are we talking about? She goes, you took my son out and did this off-road thing. I go, yeah. And she goes, he really liked it, and he had a great time. Like, she goes, he wants to buy off-road cars now. She goes, you see all this? It's this, top fuel team in NHRA and multiple semis and everything. She goes, I can't afford another one of Steve's hobbies.
Hey, off-road racing is way cheaper.
I just looked at her, and then she broke her smile, and she goes, oh, he had a great time. She's like, he'll go back anytime. She goes, but we don't need those trophy trucks anytime soon.
Yeah, those truck things, those off-road trucks.
Then everybody on the team, like, literally nobody had any idea. I was scared shitless.
Right.
It's
Tell
funny,
her to
though.
start with UTVs. You don't have to do a trophy truck.
Oh, it's
So
cheap,
much
right?
cheaper.
It's cost-effective.
It's like a discount.
Yeah.
It is. It's funny though, because like compared to like some of the road racing stuff and so on and so forth, it's like it is less expensive. You get more bang for the buck. You're in the car more, especially UTVs.
Yeah.
So
Inflation, though, they're inflating.
I feel like UTVs have not gotten cheaper the last couple of years.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
It's like each year for a competitive UTV, it's like, wait, we could have bought a Class 10 a few years ago for that, and then now everything just keeps jumping.
Well, and they're approaching Class 10 speeds, depending on the race and everything.
Pushing Class 10
well, I'm
speeds,
laughing because
Crazy.
we've got our race car for sale, and I'm looking at these Class 1 cars listed at the same price, and they're not selling. And I'm like, I'm getting texts on our cars as we're here at Sand Show, and I'm like this Turbo Polaris for 85, 90 grand, and you've got a Jimco for 90 grand, and I'm like, the UTV's more enticing.
But relative, there's $300,000 UTVs out there now.
Yeah.
Like that's what blows my mind. At one point, you could buy a dealership at that price. I was saying like earlier, a couple shows ago, we were talking, and it dawned on me. I'm like, because I am getting a Raptor R. The price on that is what I paid for my first house. There's something not right about that.
Did you have fun in your first house?
Not as much fun as I'm going to have in the Raptor
Okay,
R.
there you go.
That's why
There
I'm
you go.
putting in my deposit down.
You can put a little house in the back of it if you want.
It's
you know,
overlanding, exactly.
The only problem we're going to have is your dad's going to be livid at us.
The bed's kind of short, though. I can't fit in the bed.
So here's the thing. I am the perfect height. There's the one benefit of being short, because all day long I bitch about it. But I can sleep perfectly, sprawled out on the back bench.
Yeah.
In the Raptor. It's awesome.
Inside.
Inside.
I'm talking the
Size,
bed.
No,
Yeah.
I don't even know the bed.
See,
no.
it's a 5.5 foot
literally-
bed, and she's 5'4", so it's like there's an inch to spare.
But what you don't realize is the truck is as wide as the bed is long. So I don't even have to sleep in the back. I can literally sleep in the back seat, sprawled out. Like, I don't even have to crunch up nothing. I can just tippy toes, and I'm still clear. It's awesome.
Leprechaun problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Fun
do that.
size.
No, John and I, even Jim, we have the opposite problem. I always remember going to France and shooting Gymkhana 3 in France, and we get to this hotel, and we picked like the nice hotel, and we're like, it's gonna be bitching, everybody's gonna be comfortable. Yeah, no, the beds are like kid beds, and
the room's this small.
Yeah, we literally started laughing when we got into the room. We're like, okay, we're gonna be sleeping on the floor, So
I'm going to depress all you guys right now. So the KX112, familiar with it?
Yeah.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Kids bike.
The new KX110 that they revamped?
I got no clue. A pit bike.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Super pit bike.
That's all I need to know.
It's an 85 frame, basically.
For leprechauns.
Yes. So I'm going to I pulled it out of the truck last week, and I went to put it in the garage, and I sat on it, and I still have to use my tippy toe.
Do you really?
Yes.
See, I wasn't there, and when we did the transfer,
I know.
So it's been in Parker, and we.
That's pretty weak.
But when you sit on it, does it? Well, you don't weigh anything. That's the problem. I sit on there and just.
No, I still have to use
Lord.
I can't sit flat foot on it.
You got to get yourself some Gene Simmons boots. That's going to happen.
Oh, trust me, I have plenty. Don't worry.
I thought you were telling him he needed some Gene Simmons boots.
Well,
hey, look at he's going, yep.
Just high-fiving strangers.
I was
You
wondering
need
what the
some
connection
Simmons
was
boots.
there.
Well, I don't know. Were you on the Legends Rally when Ron was on that? He's one of our OG Legends Rally guys.
Probably so.
Yeah.
I was there with Reed.
Yeah. No, you're on the first one, right?
I don't know what it was.
I think it was the first
How weird
one.
is it to see Reed walking around in rugged blue and
Mr. Yamaha looking.
Reed's always got a smile on his face.
Yeah.
It looks just like your smile.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm happy just getting out and doing what I love.
He doesn't argue, though.
Off-roading's cool.
Let me ask you about that. So you've done a lot of off-roading in America, especially. What's your favorite ride that you do?
Favorite ride
Billy's mooning us, by the way.
Is you just got to have good destinations.
Yeah.
What I love is a cool ride where I get to bring my wife, and she doesn't go that often, but you have to have cool destinations. And she doesn't like to go to the dunes and ride aimlessly, where I love the dunes, because it's fun to ride.
They're fun to drive, but riding, it's not the same.
We need to find a cool destination. So we did one last year in Mojave where I pinpointed a whole bunch of in Mojave, there's all kinds of cool stuff.
Yes.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean,
That's where I grew up, so yes, I agree with you.
From Edwards Air Force
Yes.
Base, all the crash
Red Mountain,
sites.
Jawbone.
You got to go through the Burro Schmidt Tunnel. There's all kinds of stuff we
the
did.
Pinnacles, when you go out to the Pinnacles.
And we did the Torino Pinnacles as well, and she loved it. So, we love to get outdoors and hike and do all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah.
So UTVs to me are just an extension of going out and seeing cool shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just an enabler to get you farther.
Yep.
And I actually, you and I have been to Toro Weep.
Yep.
Or no, it was your brother. Sorry. And that, I finally got to take my wife Teresa to Toro Weep.
Yeah.
And that is like one of the spots. It's just a great destination. So for me, it's all about the destination.
Yeah.
And a UTV, no matter what it is, just enables you to get further to see cool stuff.
Well, you can point and shoot, right? You can see some random canyon area that looks cool to hike. You can get there as far as you can get there, park it, and then go hike from there. And you can't really do that with a lot of other vehicles.
No, and I love seeing the guys with the UTVs that throw the mountain bikes on the back, and Normally they're just doing like, cool snow hills, and that kind of stuff. But I like to get out.
Yeah.
Way out there.
Yeah, same. It's interesting, too, because, like, now I look at things, even travel, like, right before COVID, I decided that every year during the winter break, I kind of go stir crazy because we're trying to finish up stuff for the men, and, people aren't getting back to us because they all check out. So I'm like, all right, screw it. We're just going to go on vacation. So I did, like, kind of a double vacation of, like, we're going to go to Spain, but then after a week, I'm going to Saudi to Dakar, right? And I took one of my best friends with me, and we went out to Saudi, and it was incredible. And it was the same thing. It was like we got a rental car that was 4-wheel drive, and we figured out where generally where the race course was going to be, and we would just hop in the rental car, cut off the road, and go in 30 miles. And the stuff we saw doing that was incredible.
Well, and that's what's neat about Saudi is, and the Dakar, my perception of Saudi Arabia, I've never been there before.
Yeah.
Before the Dakar, moving to Saudi was just flat desert, nothing. But there's some really cool landscape in Saudi.
There was at one point we were in this canyon, and it was like Matomi Wash, but on steroids. It felt like it was 10 times as big as Matomi Wash. So I'm sitting there, and my buddy looks at me, and he goes, I'm just waiting for the dinosaurs to come walking out. You know, this is just so crazy and huge. But, yeah, that was my perception before I went there is I'm like, oh, it's just going to be dunes, right? And then once we went and experienced it and looked at the terrain they had, it was pretty incredible. It was a pretty incredible terrain. We were on the Red Sea side, which also reminded me of the Sierra Cortez side of the Baja. A lot of similarities. Not the food, though. The food was nothing like Baja.
A little different.
We roll up, and guys are cooking something over a fire, at like a stand, and we're like, hey, so what is that? Can we have some, like, what is it? And they go, meat. And I'm like, yeah cool. What kind of meat?
That was your sign to ask more questions.
And they go, meat. And I'm like, all right, we're in, like, whatever, like, we're doing this. If it's whatever it was actually delicious. I'm pretty sure it was chicken, but it was a little dark. So it could have been something
It's
else.
always chicken.
It was probably goat.
Yeah, it could have been goat. They eat a lot of goat.
And goat's pretty safe.
Yeah, well, it was actually very good, and we didn't die. We didn't get sick. So, it's all good. On to the next adventure, right?
We're joined by the world-famous Billy Slade.
I don't know about world-famous. Maybe like county famous.
County famous?
But not this county.
Mayor of Sladesville?
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly 10.2 acres.
Yeah. Are you the mayor of Sladesville, or is Kristin the mayor of Sladesville?
Kristin, definitely.
Yeah. No, Sandy. Yeah. Sandy is. We had this conversation at Rally on the Rocks. Everybody thinks her name's Sandy because that's her one Sandy blonde. So everybody walks up and goes, oh, Sandy. She's like, yeah, it's Kristin.
Oh, no, but it's actually really funny. She's actually embraced it now to the point where she's like, if somebody calls me Sandy, I know they know me from social media, and it's perfect because then I don't feel bad that I don't know them.
True story.
You know Billy, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
we've met before. How's it going, Matt?
Good, awesome, man.
Yep. And I know
how's your show going today?
Good,
yeah.
Good. I love coming out here and just experiencing and basically just soaking in.
Billy's hungover bad today.
I heard Kristin slept outside for a while. She said
she did. Yes, we closed Goat Hill down.
Tonight it's on. We already Kristin's like, no, it's on at Goat Hill tonight.
Oh yeah. 2 nights in a row.
Are you tuned back up?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
So Britt and I closed it down. Was a Thursday night. We were there till close, and then we took a night off last night, so we're ready to go tonight.
Got it. Well, I'm just gonna carry it right through.
You're the man.
And then drive home tomorrow night, 10 hours.
Oh,
yeah.
I will say
10 hours.
Yeah.
Man, it took me 7 to get here.
Well, you don't have a trailer.
I know.
We keep talking about bringing our RV up and coming staying on the property. We need to.
I'm smart.
Yeah. This guy, smart ass.
So Kristin told us
UTV
takeover. Britt and I are babysitting you because she's not going to be there.
Yeah, she's actually.
I was like, you're sending Billy to UTV takeover
whoa,
by himself.
That's not a good idea.
She's making me bring Buster, so at least I'll be somewhat responsible to go back to the RV at some point and check on the dog.
I feel like you need to come to UTV Takeover, Matt. It's a weekend after the Cal 300. So you need like
I thought it was the weekend before.
No, it's a weekend. No, okay. Trail Heroes a weekend before.
Oh, that's right.
Same place.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll be there.
You'll be at both?
No, not Trail Hero.
Oh, it's UTV Takeover?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to be at Trail Hero either, but we'll be at Takeover. So
I'll be at Trail Hero. I'll represent for all you guys.
You have to. I will say we had the most fun at
I don't need
Rally
to
on the
see
Rocks.
Keith Hook that much.
Rally on the Rocks, our camp was freaking awesome. We had a blast.
Yes.
I saw him walking around.
Really?
Yeah. Is he sponsored by Monster? That's a question I want to know.
I think he is.
He's rocking double cameras, too.
Well, and you know, the best way to become sponsored is to act like you're sponsored.
Really? Does that work?
That's a starter.
That didn't work for the Serapis boys.
Well, all right, I'll switch teams. I'm going from
in their defense, when they were sponsored, they didn't act like they were sponsored also. So
This is true.
Matt, if you come to Takeover and need a place, I got an RV.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I want to.
You have to spoon. He already claims Big Spoon, so I mean.
I've been to prison. I know how this works.
we got Pete just laughing at the line up here. He's going.
Now we're.
It went downhill fast.
Yeah, it did.
We ran out of cheerleader beer, so I'm on Coors Light now.
Yeah.
What the hell?
That's hilarious. No, I think, events like Takeover, I think, are really rad because it bridges that gap with the new users, right?
Oh, I totally agree.
And it gets them involved, and they get to see how rad, not just UTVs are, but off-road culture, And a Trail Hero, I think, is another really cool event. And, I think those types of events are really important for, growing the sport and growing the culture. People go to those things and they're like, wow, this is crazy and fun. And we can go have a blast with all of our friends and meet new people and go to new places. Plus, that area of Utah is bitching for riding.
Sand Hollow is just
amazing. Yeah.
That's like just being at Brits all the time now in Cedar City. It's like, dude, Southern Utah is amazing. I mean, you've got Sand Hollow, and then an hour away you've got Bryan Head. You know what I mean? That's amazing mountain biking and snowboarding, and it's
to John's point earlier. The thing that I think is just beginning to happen is off-road tourism, right? And it's happened in small scales. It's been going on for a while, with Jeeps and so on and so forth. But now with UTVs,
we can get further faster.
And it's like a little Swiss Army knife. Like, you have trails, that'll handle it. You have mud, it'll handle it. Rocks, it'll handle it. Desert, it'll handle it. So I look at stuff now and I'm like, I want to go there and I want to go off-road all these areas, right, that are off the beaten path and off the pavement. And that's generally where I find the good stuff, right?
Right, yep.
A lot of these areas, though, and honestly, in the last couple of years, this is one thing that benefited the off-road industry, I think, was COVID, because it's like Parker, I mean, Thanksgiving and New Year's, there was always some people out in Parker, on the big weekends. You go out to Parker on Thanksgiving or New Year's now, and it looks like Glamis on a holiday weekend. Yeah. It's literally, you have to have your RV out there a week in advance, or you're not going to get a good spot.
Everybody's going outdoors.
Yeah,
I mean, national parks are a shit show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, every national park almost is instituting restrictions on how many people can come in. It's just crazy. I mean, Arches just did it.
Yeah.
This last year.
Yeah,
crazy.
it's great. It's funny because I was on a marketing call, and it was with all these, marketing directors of various companies, and the guy from, who's the marketing director of Airbnb was on, and he goes, hey, I want to share this information with you. Basically, every major city every major city, you could drop a pin, and within a 2.5 hour radius, that's where the majority of travel has shifted from air travel in America. Right, so we're getting back to our roots as Americans and going on these road trips, right?
We don't need to go to Europe.
And, I mean, Europe's rad, but we have a lot of rad shit in this country.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
And especially when you get off-road, right? Like it's funny because, we have this beautiful highway system, and it's great from getting point to point, but once you get in the dirt and start driving around and looking at things and experiencing things, there's a lot of cool stuff out there.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I haven't honestly been on a plane since 2019. I literally RV everywhere, and I love it. I love being on the road, truck stops.
That was Brittney and my plan this year, and that did not happen.
Suck.
Hey, truck stops, you get a free place to crash, and it's safe because everybody there has an expensive load. Now, if you John leaves his parking lights on for the lot lizards, and they're always just attracted to him. That's the problem.
Wait, what is,
I just passed those up.
what color bandana are you hanging out the?
I wouldn't even know what bandana means what.
A buddy of mine told me, he's like, do not never buy bandanas in truck stops. I'm like, what? Why? And he's like, that's the signal for the various flavors of the truck lizards, right?
I need this time of help.
There's also a thing. It's if you're at a campground and people have flamingos in their front window.
Oh yeah,
they're swingers,
right?
And then I never knew this either. But
what about if it's outside the window?
Which sucks.
Well, then that just probably means they're already
flamingos are cool.
I just want to put my flamingos out and for everybody to leave me alone, dude. All these people.
Well, you better be knocking on the door.
They're like, "Hey, Matt."
And then the upside down pineapple.
Right? What's that mean?
That's another swinger
in your
thing.
shopping cart.
So.
In your shopping cart, upside down pineapple, right?
In your shopping cart. So people go to grocery stores for swingers, like.
No, like
be careful of how you put your fruit in your cart.
We're never allowed to put a pineapple upside down in our shopping cart at the grocery store.
No, you're not.
You might end up.
You can.
You might want that.
People see that as a swingers.
So now every time I see somebody, I'm just going to put an upside down pineapple.
You just start screwing with people.
And I'm going to walk away from that.
You want to really get somebody to do the upside down pineapple in your RV window with the flamingos? They're going to be like, wait, this guy's just like hardcore.
Oh, my God.
I thought we were supposed to talk about off-road.
It is. It's getting to the off-road. Right?
But we're talking about RVing. It's all part of the – I don't want to say part of the lifestyle because I am definitely not a part of whatever lifestyle Billy's talking about.
That's going to get misinterpreted.
No, I'm not a part of that lifestyle. I'm learning about that.
This is one of many reasons why none of us can run for office because all these clips are going to be used.
We're all ADHD or whatever they call it.
Yeah. Billy Slade for president. We'll just be on the cabinet.
Oh, I might actually get that flag and just run it this year.
Right.
I mean, why not?
I mean, you're the mayor of Sladesville,
right.
So
I'll be the president of my own property in real small writing, but I'll say Billy for president of my own property.
Well, we were having this discussion. Kristen's over here shaking her head. We were having this discussion. Who's the mayor of Sladesville? And everybody's like, "No, Kristen is."
I'm like the janitor, the contractor, everything that doesn't have a title. Wait. While Brandon's here, we just announced last night. What's that?
The arsonist.
Yeah. Me and Brandon are running King of the Hammers 2023.
You're racing it?
Yep. We're going to race it.
In a Turbo R?
Yep. Yeah. In a Turbo R.
Right now, I'll be the pit crew.
Done. Yeah, we want to. And
I'll laugh at you.
Hey.
As long as the pit crew can drink Coca-Colas.
Done.
I'm in.
Keith actually had a really good idea of putting a Starlink and live streaming the entire race. I don't really know what I'm doing. He kind of knows what he's doing.
He's been around the block a couple of times.
Now, here's the deal. I sign us up as backup drivers only because I want to be able to go out in the canyons and help you guys.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think the audio and the video is going to be great. Someone to be like, "Are you sure you're going the right way?" He's like, "You're my navigator." I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't know where I'm going. Do you know where we're going?"
I'm stoked. So Twitchell's been talking about going racing for a while. So this is actually happening now.
Yep.
Okay, good for Twitchell.
Yeah.
And HCR Racing has a long history of King of the Hammer, so this is just continuing on, right?
Right.
The legacy.
And we also
I feel like you should take this now because you're like no.
And we also haven't figured out who's going to drive and who's going to co-drive and who's going to take what role because we're both.
I feel like you guys need to do musical chairs in every canyon.
I mean, yeah.
I asked Billy. I said, "Who's going to be the driver?" And he said, "Well, Brandon, because he's the big guy. I'm the little guy. I can get out real quick and wench onto things if we need to."
Wench onto things.
Words of wisdom from one Sandy Blonde.
I just said
Sandy over here. We had that conversation.
Sandy.
I told Brandon, I said, "Look, you can drive in the rocks because I'm not waiting for you to climb out of that car and run up a canyon. I'll do that."
You just didn't want to be in the car when he goes down back door.
No. But I also did tell him.
Whoa.
I also did tell him. I said, "Look, we're going to have some kind of side bet. I shouldn't have to get out and winch. If you're doing your job, I should prepare. So there's going to be like a side thing. Like,
have you seen the rocks at King of the Hammers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do your job and still get kind of screwed up and have to winch.
But I also want to put like a strong pressure on him to do his job.
Yeah,
and hold something over.
I feel like this is a documentary in the making.
This is not going to get you over the refrigerator-sized boulders.
He's
right?
not.
Like, I'm still blown away. Like when the whole UTV thing started at Hammers, I'm like, this is dumb. These cars aren't going to make it. They're not capable at this point.
I was there.
I know.
I know. These two are the OGs.
I know.
I did. I've raced that 9 times.
I know. And again, it's another thing where I'm like, oh my God, these vehicles not only can do it, but I mean, you saw what happened with last year with there was one of the brothers, right? Finished top 10, right?
In the big race,
yeah,
in the 4,400.
Yeah,
that was Cody Miller.
Yeah, Cody Miller, one of the Miller brothers, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. And they're going to do it again, but this year they're purpose-building a 4,400 car.
Okay.
So they're not – last year they raced the same car, and between the races they basically rebuilt the cars.
So it's still going to be a UTV, though.
Still going to be a UTV, but they're doing some crazy stuff to it to make it different. So they're actually racing the UTV race in one car and the 4,400 race in another car that'll be more specialized. That's just what they told me. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know what I'm hopeful of too, because both the brothers are badass drivers, and this I guess it's been a couple of years. They spent a lot of time racing at the Texas facility, and now that's getting.
And Texflex is gone.
Yeah, it's now this.
Wow.
Selfishly. Selfishly, I'm kind of glad because I want those guys out racing with us, right? Because
that was gnarly because it was the place to go to for short course racing for that long.
Yeah, but I think those guys are so talented. I want to see them in the bigger pool of competition, and Hammers is one of them. Mint's another one. I want to see them out desert racing.
Well, so they talked about racing Vegas to Reno this year. I think they'll probably do it next year.
Yeah.
But those guys are really awesome because rock racing is just another. It's just reading a different terrain.
Sure.
And they picked up on it quick.
Yeah.
And I mean, first year, Hunter Miller took the W on that one.
Yeah, which is super impressive because my brain doesn't work with the rocks. Like I look at them and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Right. You put me in the desert, I'm good. Right. But the rocks. Yeah, it's intimidating, and I've gone with a lot of guys in 4,400s. In fact, both the most enlightening and terrifying experience I've had is going through some of the rocks with Walker, and so I have a lot of respect for the racers. But like to me, it's just like I look at the lines and I'm like, okay, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Well, okay, what do you do here, right?
Well, it's a completely different throttle control.
Sure.
The 4,400s are completely different than UTVs in the way they do it, but they blend it in together on some of this stuff, and it's amazing. The momentum is your friend.
Sure.
Especially in a UTV, and they know how far they can take it without breaking stuff.
Right.
It's amazing.
I can't speak more highly of a race, and being a race promoter, I think that means a lot. And watching Dave Cole and then Jeff in the beginning create this thing, and then create something that was so valuable and so powerful that people are building one-off cars to come race it. And of course they built out the Ultra 4 series, but it's King of the Hammers, and the rest of the races are like, okay, cool, we're just racing.
Last year there were quite a few people on the lake bed.
Oh, it was awesome. I mean,
it was like 80,000.
It's funny because everybody's throwing around numbers. I think it was more like
60,000.
I think it was north of 100.
Okay,
right? That was
it was packed.
Yeah, it was packed.
Britt and I went up on. There was one day it was so dusty. We went up on a hill, and you could see the haze over the entire valley.
Yeah.
But when it cleared, and there's a bunch of people who don't pay, they don't register. I think it's hard to keep track, but it was insane the amount of people. It was.
Yeah.
So next year, if you guys...
By the way, screw all those people that don't pay, because this, as a promoter, I can tell you this is these are very expensive events to put on.
And if you like King of the Hammers is not cheap.
If you like to have toilets, if you like to have trash cleaned up, you like to have security, if you like to have an event, then do the donation or buy a ticket.
They're not asking a lot of money either. It's not like it's a big.
Buy the merch, just support them because, man, this is a business, and I can tell you, Dave Cole is not a millionaire, and he's not going to become a millionaire anytime soon. He's put every dime that he's ever made or had at risk for putting on this one event.
I think the truth is, whether you're John or you're Matt, us, what we do, like we're not in this off-road industry to become millionaires. We're doing it because of the love of the off-road industry.
Matt totally is.
Yeah, let's be clear.
And I could, if it was realistic, I would too.
Yeah, let's be 1,000% clear. I'm in it to be a million. No.
Well, I mean, we're all making money. You know what I mean? And we want to make a lot of money, but it's
just need the trophy truck budget, and I'll be fine.
I know what the McMillan trophy truck budget is. That would go a long ways for anybody.
And it's great. No, I mean, but no, it's that's one of the things is like, look, this is a great country, and we're very fortunate in this side of the country to have BLM land, right? But man, I'm telling you, like our permitting cost at the BLM is, tens of thousands, almost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Our insurance, our security, all the things that add up. It's crazy, right? And we do it because, we grew up in this and we grew up going to the big events, and we know the effect that it had on us. It brought us into this culture and gave us something that really turned us on, right? And this is what we do. Somebody asked me the other day, it's like, okay, cool, if you weren't a promoter, what would you do? And I'd probably work for a promoter, right?
Right.
Or do something within the industry. But I don't really, I'm one of those guys, like, I don't care about baseball or football or hockey or golf or any of that stuff, right?
This is your sport.
Yeah, it's like I'm thinking about, okay, today's Saturday, the Baja 400's going on, and I want to know where everybody's at, right? And then the only other thing I worry about.
How is that going? I mean, obviously, I've been on air for 3 hours now, so it's
I keep trying to get information. It's sparse, right?
3 hours?
So the funny story is, with
how come you're not really drunk by now?
Because he's drinking Coca-Cola's or whatever they're called.
Coca-Colas.
3 hours. I gotta go.
No, it's just This show literally last year, Pro Armor goes, "Hey, we want you to do a show," and Britt and I are like, "Well, Britt wasn't even." This was the show last year where she decided to get on air because we were all having a blast, and she was always scared to be on air. But no, we started. It was supposed to be an hour show, and we went like 3.5 hours. Whew. And literally, it was funny. You go back; it's one of our most listened to episodes ever. And it started out here, and it went down there. But we had everybody Pro Armor drinking, and it was
Pete from Pro Armor is one of the coolest OG guys in the industry ever, right?
The best. So we come back, and this show is supposed to be the same way, and now we're almost at 3 hours. So it's just it's become the show, and like everybody that listens in knows, hey, whatever happens at Sand Sports, we need to tune in because it's going to be funny.
But I agree with John. I think we should up the alcohol as we go along, right? So we got to.
Are you going to Goat Hill tonight, though?
Yeah, Matt, you're going to Goat Hill.
What is Goat Hill?
Goat Hill
Tavern?
No.
Oh my God!
It's like a bar, but there's like 4 different bars in this bar, and every bar has like.
I almost feel like you need to.
And they've got a hotel room. They've got like 100 beers on tap.
No, it's you need to go to Goat Hill,
and there's about 10,000 people there.
I'm too old. I'm too old to go.
And when they kick you out of the bar at night, they have taco trucks waiting.
Yeah, there are taco and barbecue trucks out the back, like at 2 a.m.
So and then you get the DUI right after that.
No, we get Ubers, but
Uber's your friend.
Uber the world.
No, well, what I was about to say. The only other thing I care about is MMA, and then a little bit of boxing. And tonight, Canelo's fighting, so I want to know about that, right? But outside of that, it's like, this is what I live for, and we breathe it, and we're all about it. So,
and this is the biggest show of the year for the UTV world, right?
Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't even say UTV world. I'd say off-road, right? Like, it doesn't have the trophy trucks and all the stuff that we have at the races, but, like, honestly, it should. It should at this point because
this is definitely eclipsed Off-Road Expo in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Hands down.
But I think it's because of the UTVs, because of the accessibility, more people can relate to them. It's like we were talking about earlier, it's like I remember coming here in the early days of UTV Underground, and it was like people were like staring at us like, why are you here? Look at this sand car is what this is about. And I'm like, that's a badass sand car, but...
And then 2008 happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, like to your point earlier, Matt, of saying like, you know, a UTV is so capable. I can't tell you how many times if you say, oh, I have this built UTV and it costs $40,000 and I have $40,000 into it. They're like, that's $80,000. I'd rather buy a Jeep or I'd rather buy a sand car. But I'm like, can you take a Jeep 80 miles an hour through the whoops? No, you can't. Yeah, you can take a sand rail, but now you can't take that sand rail down old dirt roads and across a creek, you know, so it's literally just a universal platform to pretty much do everything, and it does almost everything really, really well.
Well, like in Arizona, they double as second cars. Like I know people who the wife has a car.
It's a grace getter.
Yeah, and then the guy, you know, has a UTV, and it's literally a second car.
Yeah, and now with the HVAC models, they just kind of like took that a step even higher. You know, now you can live in Arizona in the summer and go get groceries in it because you got AC.
On the HVAC models, all of the manufacturers need to understand that we need sport HVAC models.
Yes, I 100% agree. Yes.
So whether it's a Can-Am Commander or a Polaris General, we want those with enclosed cabs with the HVAC.
Right.
It's not just the Defenders with it. We want a more sporty model with HVAC.
Correct. Yep. And I would actually honestly...
Because it's kind of like a Raptor. I mean, but you can go further and go... I mean, that's what we want.
Yeah. Something that I can actually do a lot of off-roading with and be comfortable in the cab.
More suspension, more comfortable ride to go tackle weird stuff or awesome stuff in comfort.
Yeah.
If it's gnarly, snowing, raining, hot, whatever, we want all that.
Right. Yep. Nope. I totally agree.
I sound like a little girl talking about off-roading, but that's what people want.
Well, you were talking earlier. Do you have a little espresso maker in the thing?
No. No.
He's got a cooler with cappuccinos, though.
But
so, then I'm in.
Billy joined me on the Rubicon.
Right.
We did the
UTV Conquest.
Yes, on the Rubicon. It's the guys from Jeep Jamboree put it on.
Right.
Bob Sweeney and those guys.
Nice.
So we were in there, and I had my portable power generator. We had a guy in with a Starlink.
Yep.
So we had Wi-Fi in Rubicon Springs, and I had my Keurig with me. So I made coffee in Rubicon Springs with my Keurig because I have to have coffee in the morning to function.
100% with you on that one. Everybody thinks it's funny. I'm like we're going to Baja. I'm like, we have a generator. I was like, oh, yeah, you need a generator to recharge all the batteries for the...
No, just for my Keurig.
No, for the coffee.
I have to have
the
coffee
maker.
Right.
It's my one fix.
Yeah, you know, too, and like I'm an early morning guy, so 5 o'clock in the morning, the first thing you're going to hear is, you know, the grinding of the beans, right?
Billy's an 8 o'clock guy, but I'm a 5 o'clock guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I don't have any small kids at home, and I've got nothing.
I don't have small kids at home. They're 21 and 24.
Yeah, but you're like to the old age now, where you go to bed at like 7 p.m. and you get up at 4 a.m. to like
no.
check for the paper.
I make it to 9.
I mean, 9's like legal bedtime. All right, but eight isn't.
I'm honestly like the guy that like if I go to bed before midnight, it's rare. I am, for whatever reason.
You're night owl.
Yeah, and I don't, and it's not like I oversleep. I mean, if I get 7 hours, I'm good.
Yeah.
So if I go to bed at 1, I get up at 8.
That's because you're a slacker.
No.
Matt and I get work done in the morning. I mean,
this is true.
From 5 to 7, we're more effective than you are all day long.
I know if I need to get a hold of Matt, if I call him at 7 a.m., he'll pick up and we can actually have a real conversation.
And I'm pinging off the wall with caffeine at that point, right? So
new day, new challenges.
Aside from when you're like, oh, I went out for a surf or a run or something like that, like those.
Whoa! You're talking about Matt. You said run?
Yes. At one point.
Hey,
at one point he's like, oh, I'll call you back. I'm on a run or something.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I need honestly, I need to get back on it too. But you've been running a lot.
No,
right?
no,
not lately.
No. So
at one point you were doing like half marathons.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I suck. But coming up here in October, right before UTV takeover, my wife and I are doing rim to rim.
Okay.
Grand Canyon. You go from the north rim to the south rim. It's like 25 miles in a day.
Run or walk?
No. We're hiking.
Okay.
But you start at
You're hiking fast. Though.
Yeah. Well, you got to get there before. Yeah. I mean, you want to get there for cocktail hour. I mean, you're trapped. You can't like stay the night down at the bottom unless you have a reservation. So you have to get to the other side and up the other side.
Right.
Yeah, 25 miles. That'll be tough.
That's a hike, man.
Yeah.
That's a hike.
Yeah.
The only time I willingly did 25 miles was when we were in Baja and we were broken.
Yeah, well.
And I got elected. They're like, okay, you're healthy. You're in shape. Like, you go
So it really wasn't willing.
No.
It was a little bit
necessity.
Scott McMillan looked at me and went, "You're young. You're in shape.
Go get it."
There's a ranch this way, and I failed to ask how far it was. He goes, "You won't miss it." And so I was like, every 5 miles, I'm like, I think I missed it. You know,
Right.
I finally got there and was like, okay, yeah, that sucked.
And
actually, it actually didn't suck because it was beautiful. You're in Baja. I had water. We had food.
You'd get to tacos at some point.
Yeah, you're not going to die. Like, that's the whole thing of getting stuck in those situations is it resets your mind, you know, of what you're stressing out on traffic and stupid things in life, and then you go.
And then there's tacos.
Then you go get, you know, a 25-mile hike in Baja, and then, yes, when you get to those tacos, they are the best damn tacos you've ever had.
Right, and it just kind of opens your mind back up to what is really actually stressful in life. Because a lot of times you get stuck in a daily grind, and you think life is just so hard, and then you realize how good you really have it. Maybe it's you see somebody else that has less or is unfortunate, or, you know, like you just get that like energy recalibrated into you, just saying like, wow, like I really actually have it good. Like my problems are actually really, really small compared to some others.
100%.
So not getting your card done for sand sports is kind of small and.
Yeah, but I got it done. Did you not get a car done?
No, mine's easy. Mine was done at the Rubicon when we went, so I just scratched the rims before I brought it.
Is this the Pro R you're working on in May?
No, that one finished. I just built a Turbo R.
Okay.
But then I bought a new trailer because I don't have a trailer to haul 2 razors because I've never actually owned 2 razors, like, at the same time. And then I ordered a trailer, and then 3 days before.
White privilege.
Here we go. Says the guy that's probably got 8 Can-Ams at his house right now. He's got a log splitter one. I've never, honestly, all the pictures he's ever taken has never left his property.
The log splitter?
No, the one that you've towed behind the. I think it's.
Oh no! I have. I went rock crawling on the Rubicon with my Can-Am Defender. So bite me. I love to take every vehicle I get on the Rubicon just to prove whether it can do it or not.
And the funny thing is, you know how close I live to the Rubicon.
And you've never been there because you're a sissy.
No, I've always been a dune guy.
I'm a fan guy.
And I love the dunes. And I never really thought, I was like, rock crawling's going to beat your car up. It's boring. And it could be anything from
but the party in Rubicon Springs was awesome.
But
it really was.
I think it's interesting because when you, like, if your experience is Moab and maybe even Hammers, and, you know, you don't get the reward of the beauty of the nature, and especially Rubicon Springs, I mean, it is absolutely magical.
Oh, it's amazing.
Right? And I don't care what you do it in. If you get the opportunity to do it, go
See,
do
I've never
it.
been on it, so
my God.
Oh, no. It was, like,
amazing.
I honestly, I literally called my wife, and I'm like, I cannot believe I've literally lived an hour and a half away from here my entire life. I'm born and raised in the same town. I still live in it, and I've never been.
Sladesville.
Yeah,
he never goes anywhere. He stays, like, right there the whole time.
I either go
a lot of the NorCal guys are like that. I don't know what the deal is.
I don't get out. I don't get out much at all.
I was just up there with we were shooting an interview with Jason Shearer and cruising around meeting people, and everybody's like, yeah, we do. I mountain bike in the morning. I do this, and then I go home. That's it. And I'm like, okay, cool. That sounds like an awesome day. But then what do you do? And they're like, that's it. And I'm like,
You're like, that's all.
All right.
Jason Shear's a badass. That's awesome.
I was looking at. He was running me through his new car. I think that thing's gonna be killer.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be killer.
He's always a threat. I'm sorry, we're back to King of the Hammers, but he's always a threat at King of the Hammers.
No,
that guy's a badass.
What I nerd out on is the evolution of 4-wheel drive technology and how it transferred from trophy trucks to King of the Hammers.
And then back to trophy trucks.
Back to trophy trucks, right?
All-wheel drive and a trophy truck? What?
Well, and especially portal hubs, right?
Yeah.
Because that wasn't really a thing.
No.
You know, in desert racing until, you know, it was proven in rock crawling and in hammers, right?
No,
so that
I love the cross.
Yeah, that technology
That's
exchange.
awesome.
The other thing that I nerd out on is like, okay, so we have this whole world of car technology and all, like, billions of dollars, engineers all over the world, right? And then you go to NorCal, and it's like, you know, his dude and him, you know, and some other people contributing to it. But
It's like backwoods fab.
Totally. right? And
they're killing it.
And they are making what you could argue, and I love to.
Well, between Shear and Blurton, they're both like right up there. You know?
But I love to get. I love.
And they're buddies too.
Yeah, they're buddies.
I love to.
Addington's up there. There's like this whole little circle up there.
I love to bash on the pavement nerds, like, well, look at our technology, blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. You move a wing, a microsecond, you get some sort of advantage. We're gonna figure out how to race over, boulders the size of refrigerators, right? But seeing all this tech evolve out of these backyards, right, and these small operations is badass. I just love it.
This guy just bought a lot of seats, by the way.
That's great.
He actually did.
It's a pallet.
A pair, like 1, 2, 3,
the
4,
cool
5,
thing about
10,
Sand Sports
10
Show
seats.
as a show is you can buy stuff here.
Yes.
And it's awesome that there's some vendors that bring their carts in here to wheel all their customer stuff out to their cars.
And they're escorted with them.
That guy literally was 10 seats.
No, I saw a guy earlier, was taking out a pallet. I think he had about 8 different tires and wheels, and he's trying to load them in the back of his truck. And then, they're realizing they don't have any tie downs, and he's like, I'm going to go back in and buy tie downs. I'm like, no problem, dude. We got you covered.
Speed traps right over there.
You guys, you've been to Kurt Leduc's off-road swap meet, the one he has every year?
Of
I have not.
Are you serious?
No,
this is like a religious experience.
I don't get out much.
No, he has one in the fall, and it's go to the one in March. It's usually the weekend after the mint.
So yeah,
I sell all our old UTV stuff there, and I'll make 15, 16 grand just on
what?
Old yes, literally in a matter of 6 hours.
People show up the night of before it opens.
They camp out?
No, and we call them the night crawlers, right? Because I'm dead serious. They show up, flashlights, and they're trying to beat the crowd to the deals.
Right? At 2 a.m., you're getting knocks on your RV. Like, hey,
so we used
are
to
you
go
open?
There. We would go there, and we have a keg, stay open all night, and then by 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, we had sold everything.
Yeah.
We're out, right? And it's rad because he's been doing it for a long time, but it's also close enough to Mexico where all the Mexicans come up, right?
That's where the majority of the sales are.
And then it's it's everybody else and used tires and everything. It's bitching. The very first one I went to was one of the OG ones, and we were going to sell our movie, our DVD that we'd made about off-roading Motorhead, and so I had all my DVDs and. I'm talking to Kurt, and he's like, yeah, you got to get there early and blah, blah. And, so I'm thinking there'll be a hotel there and they'll da-da-da. And
Nothing.
No, it was just like a parking lot at a school, the first ones, right?
It's like sleeping on your DVDs.
Yeah, I was sleeping. Me and my buddy slept, we had the DVDs in between us, and we're sleeping in the back of my truck, and it's freezing, right? But the next morning we got up and we sold, 400 or 500 DVDs, right?
Right.
Because everybody was like, oh, yeah, bitching, $20? Yeah, done, right? And it's just grown. It's rad that Kurt's doing it. It's a cool thing. We've actually been trying to talk him into doing it at the Mint.
But see, I would probably be out if it was at the Mint because it's I don't want to haul all my extra. I usually haul all my race stuff. I gotta haul our race stuff. I don't want to haul all my crap that I'm going to sell to the Mint too.
Well, we're discriminating. It's all the people in Nevada, right? Why would you do that, man? What about and you're discriminating against the Arizona people because it's a California event, right? No, it's a cool event.
I'll sell you all my stuff, and you can double the price on it, and I just won't come.
Yes, I need another job.
I'm confused. I don't understand where we're going with all these conversations. I can't track what we're talking about.
I want to touch back on Matt's about.
You want to touch back on Matt? I don't understand here.
The pineapple's upside down.
Whoa.
It wasn't really prison. It was just jail. It's just jail.
I don't know. With the flamingos, which way are they? Are they inside, outside, upside down, sideways?
But CAD computers, 4x8 plasma tables, all that have made home built fab a realistic thing. Yeah. I mean, I look at the UTV industry and how many small companies that are like mom and pop shops that are producing state of the art pieces for these machines, and without computers and CAD and plasma tables, things like that, it's not possible.
Sure.
So technology scaling down to where the common people can actually afford that technology to build things.
Yeah, and it's become way more accessible But it's just, to me, it's just cool. It's like, last week I was with, the GM guys, right?
Right.
With the, GM Defense. And, these are vehicles that are going to be sent into war, right?
Right.
And the technology that these vehicles have on them came from off-road racing. And I could talk about the people in particular, like one of the OGs in off-road that had a hand in engineering that was Brian Cadella, right? And so
it's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, it's just rad to see that tech transfer, and even now, like the things that we learn and we create in UTVs and other vehicles, that are being made by people that are just ingenuitive, right? I go back to the greats, and it's like, look at all the stuff that Mickey Thompson invented. And this is a guy who he didn't go to college, right?
Right.
He wasn't an engineer. Robbie Gordon, like, look at all the stuff that Robbie's coming up with. And, it's like he didn't graduate from whatever the gnarly engineering school is.
Right.
But yet he's producing some of the most advanced stuff that we've seen in a long time.
Right. And a lot of it is just, the thought.
Yeah.
A desire and a drive to want to create.
Yeah.
And after that, when you have all that, you have to have that in order to succeed and in order to make a good product. That drive has to be in you. And it's, there's a lot of companies that just hire that out. But guess what? There's going to be another company that comes and takes that employee from you. And where are you at? Because you never had that drive or the ingenuity or anything like that to actually sustain it.
Sure.
You were just basically paying somebody enough to have that vision.
Yeah, and I don't think that, number one, it doesn't work long term, but I think that's a different thing because our culture is founded on the idea of problem solving in particular for racing and then for recreation.
True, very true.
So it was the people who were doing it that were creating the solutions, right?
Right.
And that's, to me, like, whether it was, whether it's been Robbie or whether it's been Cadella or Mickey Thompson or any of the great, vehicle builders or all the unsung, people who are parts builders of different things. There's a guy that nobody knows, that just built, did most of the engineering on the Jimco, the new Jimco, Barry. And, like, I sit there and talk to him, and he's like, oh, yeah, I did this and this and this. I'm like, I had no idea.
Right.
Right? And, as that truck gets proven, I think that it's going to be an eye-opener to a lot of people, and they're going to go, who the hell is this guy, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of guys like that in our industry that don't get, that are like unsung heroes, right?
Yep.
That create advances.
Yep. And they overcame a problem, which now they're like, okay, if this problem is fixed, now we can project this even further.
Yeah.
But without that one small piece, that stepping stone, you couldn't go any further because that one piece was hindering you and kept breaking.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And, I mean, same thing with, like, UTV industry. It's like, a part breaks because it's weak. There's companies out there going like, where's the weak link? We want to build a part for it.
Right.
Just show us where it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
It's interesting, and then I just love, seeing that tech transfer. It's like we were talking about it as it relates to Fox shocks with the internal bypass shocks that are now on Raptors and now on
Polaris's, Cowies,
yep,
like it's across the board. All
right?
the UTV manufacturers have them.
Right.
So now people are just awakening to the idea that they should have good suspension.
Right. Yeah, before they just kind of dealt with what they got. They're like, this is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's a monotube shock that, blows out in 100 miles. And
right.
They spend 5 years driving around on it, right? They're like, oh, my truck doesn't handle well. I wonder why. It's like, well, let's start with the blown out shocks.
Right. Yep. And I think anybody that's had a blown shock, they know how horrible. I literally was driving down the highway, I think on the way here, and there was a truck in front of me. It was a Honda Odyssey minivan, and the back right tire was just literally going like this. The road was completely smooth, but the whole tire, and I'm like looking at it, I'm like, is the tire going to fall off? I'm like, no, actually, that guy's just got a blown shock. Like, how does he not feel that car just vibrating?
Well, he doesn't know what it is, right?
Right.
He's like, yeah, there's something wrong, not sure. Maybe it's flat, but I'm going to keep going.
Right. Yep. He's balanced his tire 100 times. They're like, yep, we balanced it. It's good. He's like, oh, I don't know what to do then.
Yeah.
It is funny because I've been in so many bad vehicles and everything else, and Britt, with her suspension background, we got our fleet of vehicles and stuff, and she'll, like, drive my truck, or I'll drive the Raptor, and she's like, you didn't notice that? Like, have no idea what you're talking about, Britt. You didn't feel that? I'm like, No, like she's got like a knack for it. I'm like, then you drive in something after she's tuned it or whatever, and I'm like, holy crap, this is amazing.
Right.
At least he knew I was taking over the headset and he was getting the microphone, because F that.
I know you well enough to know this.
I'll be sitting there like.
We were talking about bad vehicles. I'm like, yeah, the problem is Britt and I have a fleet of vehicles. And I'm like, I don't notice anything. With your suspension background, you notice everything.
It drives me nuts. It's like a mechanic and they hear a rattle and they're trying to chase the rattle, and it's change and a cup and something under the seat from 5 years ago. Yeah. It's that same thing. I'm like, do you feel that shudder? Do you feel that? Do you feel that bump? Like that chatter? This and that? It doesn't hit the same. Yeah. No, he's like, no, I drive a 3/4 ton.
Yeah.
I'm like, Raptor feels great compared to
I told
right.
I was like, the drag link's going out. I borrowed the Super Duty for a couple of days. Like, we swapped vehicles, and I'm like, the drag link's going out on your truck. And he's like, I just had it replaced. What did you just fix on the Super Duty?
Drag link.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's got to be a Chevy. I'm not Chevy. What are you pointing at me?
No,
I'm not. Yeah.
I was just driving in rental cars for a week, or rental trucks.
Gosh.
And sticking them in mud holes. And
by the way, we're joined by Kristin, who hasn't said anything, the real mayor of Sladesville.
Well, this was a conversation that I didn't have a lot of input. So
Wait, your name's Kristin? I thought it was Sandy.
AKA.
You know, I really should have thought that one through, and I didn't.
Both. That's her stage name, right?
Yeah.
Sandy?
Yep.
If I'm going to choose a stage name, Lord, let's not make it Sandy.
Yeah.
Actually, when the karaoke mic comes out, you become Sandy.
There we go.
Yes.
That's going to be.
No offense to the Sandys of the world, but I would have picked something a little more
we
exciting.
can offend somebody on this show. Like, there's got to be some sort of offense.
Always.
Oh, I'm sure we've offended somebody at some point.
We were talking about electrical outlets because we were talking about the splitter,
earlier.
so that now we can all talk. And we're like, we need a male to a double male, and then they
male to two females.
Okay,
I was like a threesome.
The point. No, it's hilarious because you didn't actually say that. You were explaining it, and then they did the opposite, right? So I ran back to Kicker, and I was like, I need the other menage a trois. I said, nobody wants two dudes. I'm like, can we get the opposite?
Oh my God.
And he stared at me, and he just walked away. He didn't even.
He's like, I don't know. What
Everybody knows, but I'm like, at some point, somebody that's woke's going to go, why are we calling these male and female? And I'm like, it's been that way since the dawn of time.
That's how
like,
it started.
Right. Let's not argue with this.
Like, how else are you gonna?
What's the opposite
Cheers.
of
Thanks
woke?
for stopping by, John.
All right.
Later, John.
Thank you, John.
The torch has been passed.
So Matt had never heard of Goat Hill.
Well, no. What's funny is, you guys started talking about Goat Hill. So we have a little golf place down by us that's called Goat Hill, right? And it's got a bar, and that's what So you guys are talking about Goat Hill. I'm like, they're not talking about our Goat Hill.
Yeah, we're going to go all the way to yours.
There's another Goat Hill because our Goat Hill is not that great.
And I don't even know why it's called Goat Hill Tavern.
So I'm going to take the claim to this one. So years ago, when we first started coming here, the only reason I even knew it existed is because my buddies used to live in Yorba. And when we'd come down to Newport, that was where we would go. That's the only reason why I knew it exists. Because from the front, it's so unassuming. It's this, like, ugly, weird sign. It looks like it could be, like, a Mediterranean restaurant or something. You'll walk right by it. But they're like, no, this is it. This is the dive bar. You never know who's going to be in here. And I'm like, bull. There's no way. Like, you see it, and especially being in Newport, I'm like, no, whatever. And we go in there, and they're like, yeah, they'll have, like, the Angels players come in, and they'll guest bartend. They'll just walk in and just start pouring drinks. Like, you
nice.
never know what's going to – it's kind of like the show. You never know what's going to show up.
Yeah.
Well, we were actually walking around the show yesterday, and somebody told me Dennis Rodman is a regular there. So in order to get people to go last night, I said...
Your pineapple's upside down, Billy.
Hey, Adrian.
In order to get people to go last night, I told them, I said, if Dennis Rodman's there, I'm going to give him two options. We're either fighting or we're going to Jello wrestle. There's only two options.
He's like, hold my pineapple.
Yeah. Billy told everybody at the show, go to Goat Hill. I'm fighting Dennis Rodman. Really? Like, you can't say that. Like,
you're a great marketer. I just want to say, like, I'm...
So, Dennis Rodman, if you're listening, I really don't want to fight, but I would be down to Jello wrestle.
Jello wrestling at the Goat Hill tonight.
Also, if you do want to Jello
Speedos
wrestle,
are nude.
Please bring Jello because we didn't bring that. I don't think that's
we're going to go and clean out
there.
the Jello jiggler cups of every grocery store in Costa Mesa and Newport. We're just pouring them in a kiddie
just
pool.
Spooning it out.
And people looked at me like I was crazy. They're like,
well, I mean, people.
Somebody
usually
said,
do.
"Who's Dennis Rodman?" I'm like, "What?"
Yes.
What?
What was it Maddie said earlier? I am 12.
Yeah.
That was the best.
What was that? I was talking about something, and I was like, the Webos series. Wes Miller, he's got the whole thing, and we're going. And I asked her, I was like, have you seen a Webos video? And I was like, oh. She goes, oh, I am 12. I'm like, started laughing. I'm like, no, you were probably 2 when they came out. Like, literally, she was 2.
How funny.
Yeah, we were just talking. I was in the truck on the way up, and we were talking about Dana and the Flesh Wound films, right?
Yeah.
And all that old stuff too. And
Crusty Demons.
Yep,
Crusty
all crusty
Demons,
stuff. And we don't have any of
Terra
that stuff.
Firma, that type stuff.
Yeah, we need to do some of that stuff.
It's like straight up like VHS DVD crossover.
That's
right
Instagram now, and
Instagram.
TikTok
Yeah.
is all it is.
That's
it's
a
just
Like all the short form,
but
but the long, like, hour-long epics. Like, when I was a kid, you'd get it, and then you'd trade it with your buddies. It was like I had one buddy that I always bought the Terra Firmas, and he bought the Crusties.
And then you swap
and we'd
when
swap.
you're done.
Yeah,
Right.
you know what I mean?
50s nuts. That's, I still remember I pulled it out of the DVD sleeve the other day just because I was like, I still have this when they're around the ice rink on the 50s.
Yes.
Best thing ever.
No, I miss that. Like, all this short form, like, instant gratification video is cool to an extent, but it's like I miss that long form, like, even the 4, 5, 6 minute
stupid
videos.
skits. All the stupid
stuff
skits
that
too,
we used to do 5 years ago in off road. We're not doing anymore.
Yeah.
The OG Nitro stuff where they'd have like the
the
chicken coop and
VHS
stuff.
Nitro stuff, the OG Nitro stuff.
Yep.
It was like camcorder raw stuff. That was awesome.
Yeah, but I also think we're living in an instant gratification now. But I also think there's a lot of people out there that market it, and they'll actually put a story, and it's all like a to be continued almost, to where like it's capturing the audience. And I think anybody that's doing any kind of film now, like you have to be so constantly creative, and you can't just say this formula works because everybody's going to catch on to that and they're going to mimic it.
No,
and
it's
copy
the
it.
stupid stuff that goes like we'll put out this awesome thing we put all this time into, and we're like, this is going to go awesome. And it's whatever, and then we put up some dumb video we happen to catch that has nothing to do, and we're like, why? Why is
like
this going?
The most viral video I've ever had, no offense, Matt, but it wasn't the Star Car stuff that you guys did an amazing job on. It was us shaving a tire to go race.
Right.
2.5 million views.
Wow.
On the cell phone of a tired
Yeah, it was literally a 5-second clip of us shaving tires. And I'm like, thing went viral and literally like 20,000 comments. And I'm like, what in the world is going on here where, but I can hire Matt to do this amazingly produced epic and, to get a couple 100,000 views.
Yeah, it's really interesting, but it's kind of like the idiots are running the asylum.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that I'm not going to do cat videos.
Wait, hold on. But we're not running it, so I'm confused.
No, but it is interesting. But like, I think somewhere in that there's a little bit of a push and a pull, a little bit of give, right? Like a great example is we shot a project with Losi. And one of the shots we got was a trophy truck sliding over one of the Losi cars and clipping it. And
I saw that one.
Yeah, and that went into that went into the primary long form piece, and it was really cool. And now it's been a few years later, and we just dropped that like a month ago on the Mint Instagram, and it got 6 million views.
Right.
And which was rad, and it actually gives value back to that sponsor because they're an ongoing sponsor of the Mint and gives value back to the Mint. And the funny thing was it was the driver who had won that year, so or this year, so it gave him some credit too,
right?
So it was I think you can take elements of stuff and put it out there, and it still breeds value back into the bigger pieces, right?
Yes. Yep.
But yeah, I get it. It's like everybody wants to, see the slapstick stuff of somebody falling or whatever it is.
Kids getting hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
Kids getting hurt.
Right. But I mean, like that piece was creative because it almost looks like it's a normal truck from far.
Yeah.
And then the bigger truck comes in, and it kind of like throws your mind off for a minute. Like, wait, I thought that was a big truck. Now that's an RC car. Right. So it kind of almost made you think.
Sure.
But I think that's also where kind of like the creativity comes in, because it's not. If it was just an RC car, or if it was just a big truck, they're like, I've seen one of those do that. But the fact is you made someone think about it, and then they're like, I want to watch that again. Because I think I watched that more than one time.
So like Godzilla on the new Jackass? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I'm just saying nowadays with like Instagram Reels and TikTok and
not doing cats, not doing dicks either. Like,
Thank you.
We do flamingos and pineapples.
No.
According to Billy.
But, you know, like nowadays you have an editing tool in your pocket.
Sure.
You have the video camera in your pocket. Like it's all, but once again, it takes that creativity just like the builders of all these fine parts. Like I'm
going to give your wife credit, though. She does all the editing and stuff. So
no, she does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I run it by
Sandy
her.
Blonde does an amazing job editing.
Thank you.
I'm like, does this reel look good? She's like, oh, that's horrible. And then I did one, and I was
like,
it was
crazy. So we're, dude, I will say, like, there's a couple amazing girls right here. We're out having fun on the rocks at Sand Hollow. These two are hiking up canyons, shooting photos and video, and I'm like.
Yeah, every
Life
now
is
and then
good.
we would jump in a random car, like just to get an extra 50 feet of not having to walk.
These are two amazing women, right?
Yeah, has
right.
anybody ever walked the trails at Sand Hollow? Because we
yes,
have.
we definitely have.
Yeah, we've hiked all of them.
Remember that one spot in that one place on the floor in that one section that we saw?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, with that one rock.
And I'm trying to do less walking. That's why I bought a Whiskey Chariot when we got here. I was like, this is a big place, and I do laps around this place. I literally will just walk laps and just check everything out.
Billy will get here before, like.
Oh no, I get here. I like getting here Wednesday morning, and then I had to help Mike from Metal Effects actually help finish his razor, and I was bummed that I wasn't here Thursday to watch setup. Like it just it inspires me.
It's
it
kind
motivates
of fun
me.
watching everybody. Like it's weird being here after having to have a booth for so many years. It was always the most stressful event because it's kind of the marquee event. It's the kickoff to the season, and so showing up and kind of being able to watch and walk through and check out everybody's stuff and be that annoying person with a beer in my hand, like it's great.
Right. Yeah, and I like being able to walk around.
Oh, you are drinking beer now. You switched from Coca-Cola.
It doesn't fit in the sleeve.
That's what she said in there somewhere.
That's why I just kept quiet there. I was waiting for it. I could have went, ha.
Yeah, she knew.
What?
But yeah, being able to walk around here and just talk to every company, and you're like, oh, cool, what's that? I didn't even know that existed. That's awesome. You know, and it's just.
Because it didn't a week ago, because this is when everybody releases it.
Yeah. Yep.
This is our SEMA.
Yeah, and I actually just said that the other day. This is like SEMA for off-road.
No,
it's a side-by-side super show.
What you said was this is like New York Fashion Week for off-road.
Oh,
yeah, I did.
That's classy.
Yeah. It really is. I mean, think about
it. The trends coming up for the rest of the year, what people are going to be doing with their builds, release of new product.
Well, and there's a lot of people out here that don't really show what they're building until you get here, so you have to physically go see.
Like, the one thing I want to see more of is the parties, right? Like, where everybody gets together after this.
Goat Hill.
Goat Hill.
Yeah, that's
Goat Hill
we've
tonight.
told you.
Yeah.
There's going to be hundreds of the
Literally,
vendors.
you find a hotel room close and just crash,
I'm
Matt.
serious. Like, way back when
Tell the significant other I'm not going to be home tonight.
I haven't slept in my bed in a week, so I'm out.
I didn't even know the name of it. I was like, we're going to go to this goat place. And that's how it started. And every year it was like double, triple, quadruple, and it just kept adding on. So I laugh because now it's just that's the annual thing.
Right.
That's where we go. And I'm like,
so it's either Goat Hill or it's the RV park right here.
Yes.
Right.
Where all the vendors are staying.
Tonight it's Goat Hill.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, we'll pregame in the RV.
Yeah,
park.
you always pregame over there. So, and then there's a lot of the people that get real drunk and stupid, and they physically can't leave. They're like, I just need to stay here.
Or,
we heard your guys' stories.
Or they
night.
get too drunk and stupid, and their husband's like, "No, we're still going to go to the bar," and you do, and then you have a rolling brownout for the rest of the night.
And a brownout is like you kind of remember, but you're not fully blacked out.
It's not a blackout. It's just a rolling brownout.
It's like selective memory.
Yeah, I was thinking something completely different.
No, I wouldn't.
It would have been the birthday cake that we had when we were rally on the rocks.
Surprise colors involved.
I'm confused. I'm like, they're shutting our power off? Like,
I do realize
I was like, they brought diapers,
Right.
right? That's where I went.
No,
like,
a rolling brownout.
should we not plug our EVs in?
Yeah, right.
Like, what? Call Gavin. What's going on, dude?
Listen, it's like you're kind of there, but you're kind of not. Bits and pieces you remember, right? You like
Wait,
lose
so every day my life is just a chronic brownout?
Yeah,
is what
you're having
saying?
just a rolling brownout.
You drink a lot of beer, Britt.
No, I just squirrel. Like, that's my whole life. Like, where I was yesterday, we were talking about what hotel, what event of this.
They all blend together.
You know, and it doesn't have to be alcohol, I guess. It could just be a busy schedule.
No, that's just my squirrel brain.
Yeah.
Having a permanent brownout.
There's
10 years.
There's also another one. It's called I Blacked In. It's like I remember that, but
yeah.
I'm refusing to admit that happened.
That's what I'm going with from now on.
I blacked in.
Blacked
It's like
in.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah. I don't know what
We
happened.
need more alcohol sponsors in this industry because clearly we are consuming
that
a
is
lot
funny
of it,
you say
right?
that, though, because with the amount of beer that people in the off-road and UTV industry drink, I can't believe somebody hasn't come in and said, you know what, we're going to invest in this space.
Right.
I think every person that walks out of here with one of those carts also has a beer in their hand.
Well, that's one
And
thing.
in their carts.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed this year is they finally gave up on the stupid cups, right?
Yes.
So they're selling tall cans, and so it's funny because it's a pain in the butt. You get the little beer, and you're like, this is a shot of beer.
Yep.
I'm an adult.
Then you're going to spill it.
Yeah.
Someone's going to bump you.
I spent
So
47 minutes in line to get that.
At least now they're selling cans of beer here, which is awesome.
Yeah, and then they're probably collecting all the recycling and taking it in and getting the CRV back.
Yeah.
The beer fairies.
Yeah.
Or at least the homeless people in this area are doing that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Think about the giving back to the community we're doing here.
Right.
You guys all know about
Yes.
the beer fairies in Isla Vista, right?
No.
No? Anyone?
With the what? The beer?
Bueller? The beer fairies? Oh, so this is great. So we go to Isla Vista, which is Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara, for some concert. And we've got a buddy that
Oh, you
lives
told
there.
me about this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is just crazy because it's out on the peninsula and it's in its own world. Like, I've been on plenty of college campuses. This is its own deal. Like, I would have flunked out halfway through the first semester.
So it's like Chico for Northern California.
Oh, it's beyond Chico. I got accepted to Chico.
Got
I'm
it.
quite aware.
Got it.
I went to ASU because it was less of a party school.
Got
put
it.
that way.
All right.
But so Isla Vista's insane. You go there and like during the day, by 9 a.m., everybody's got like the full-on like slushy beer drink deals going. They're playing beer pong at 8 a.m. Everybody pulls their fence posts, like one or two throughout. So you just have random people through the neighborhood. It's a 4-bedroom house, and they section it all off with curtains so 8 kids can stay in a house. Like it is
Because it's
full-on.
also like wildly expensive.
It's one of the most expensive areas. Yeah, it's crazy. But so we went there. I couldn't even make it a day there. I'm like, how do these people like graduate? But we went for a concert and we start doing all this stuff and they're drinking beer and they're just throwing it out the window, throwing it on the floor. In the backyard, front yard, literally we're in the house and they just keep a window open and they chuck the beer out the window.
Oh, that's where the beer fairy comes in. That beer fairy cleans it up at night.
So we're up until 3 in the morning. No joke. We are up until 3 in the morning. And I'm like, there's trash everywhere. It's horrible. And I'm like, this is disgusting. Why are these people doing that? Like, it's horrible. And they're in front of cops, like, just drinking a beer. And that's the crazy thing. There's like a party in the sea. You cannot drive a car through Isla Vista on a Friday night because everybody's shoulder to shoulder. It's like SEMA. It's insane.
Got it.
And so just same thing, drinking right in front of a cop. You just throw a can down and keep walking. I'm like blown away. We wake up in the morning. It is clean. Because everybody comes in and they go collect the cans and go do all that. And it's that same, like, it's the unspoken rule.
That's called symbiosis, right?
And it's just proof that it does work. Like, it
Yeah,
was
but who cleans it up?
insane.
What is the...
Whoever wants to go cash in the CRV.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's the brokest. The brokest of the people that are
But-
like, I'm taking tonight off. I need some money.
They're literally called the beer fairies. They're known as the beer fairies. And
Do they have, like, outfits that they wear?
You don't see them. You go to sleep, you wake up, and the streets are clean.
So you
It
don't
is mind-blowing.
you don't physically know one person that actually was
I
a
did
beer
not
fairy?
physically see someone because when the streets were full, it wasn't like there was somebody random walking around with a bag, nothing. They're gone. They wait till everybody blacks out, browns out, whatever you want to call it.
Blacks in. All the things. All the ins and
All the
outs.
things.
All of the things, yes.
Where were we at where that became a thing? All the things.
I don't
I
even
can't
know.
remember. That was too
Yeah.
many beers ago.
Wait, I do have to say for you guys are going to Camp Razor, yeah?
We don't know.
Well,
We got Off-Road Hall of Fame Sunday. Got what we've got
SEMA,
UTV.
Huevos.
We got UTV takeover the fall or the
We
previous
have
weekend.
all of the things.
So
Well, we're having special piñatas made. I thought you
Whoa,
guys were
you're
going to be
not
there.
supposed to say that.
I mean, we're having special stuff made. Can you delete that off this? Just rewind.
Are they
so,
phallic?
so we need to
'Cause I feel like
we
they'd
need
be
to have the
phallic.
RV at Camp Razor.
Yes.
I do love our camp circle because it's all razors, and then here's our
The bastard
Kawasaki.
Kawasaki.
And everybody embraces us.
That's
Yeah.
great.
But at the end of the day, I love the fact that you could walk into a random camp in Glamis, like anywhere, and there could be 5 different brands of UTVs, but at the end of the day, we're all there to do the same exact thing, which is live life, explore, adventure, and have fun.
And drink and
Yes.
eat. Sushi.
I was gonna say and drink.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like the camping experience, I mean, I would say 40% is camping experience. The other 60 is, driving, experiencing, things like that. But that 40% is a huge percentage, I wouldn't want to do it in a hotel.
I'd flip it the other way, actually. I think you spend more time, in camp than you do riding, so that camaraderie and that friendship and that time, I think, is I think people have realized, like, especially with COVID, that how important that is, right? To connect with people and to have your tribe. And, you know, Glamis is rad just for lots of reasons, but in particular what you're mentioning, which is like, you know, whether it's family or friends, you get your posse, you go out there, you circle up, you know, you have a bonfire, you break bread together, you have drinks, you go ride, you have this, like, whole
and let's
experience.
be real, there's a little bit of herding cats.
Oh, of course.
Oh, no, that's, yeah.
We're leaving for a ride in 10 minutes.
The bigger the group, the worst.
Try filming there. Like that, it's literally got to a point where, you know, we were like, you know, we helped get Camp Razor going, and we're filming it every year, and then it just was like, okay, this is like beyond herding cats. Everybody's going to go this way, and we're trying to document it. So it's still a blast. Like you know, I prefer going out there on smaller missions, you know, when we have a lot more room to ourselves so we can really ride long and you know, drive hard, right, and have fun. Because growing up out there, going to the dunes, like, we got really comfortable with them, and there is nothing easier to drive than a UTV. So you can do a lot. You can do a lot of mileage with them and cover a lot of ground, and they don't really have any spots in the dunes where you're like, oh, it just doesn't do this, you know, because now they have the horsepower that they need.
Yep.
Rhino and Terex days and
No,
original
that was terrible.
Ranger days, everything was a challenge. Just trying to get out of the vendor area was a challenge.
Yeah.
Right.
Carbureted, not going up that hill.
But
Yeah.
it's really cool. And, you know, if you have a family, it's just great to go do with your kids, you know.
Right.
So,
and I think, you know, for me and Kristin, I have a son. He's 23, going to be 24 this year. But for us, I mean, we spend more time with our off-road family, camping, things like that, than we do with our real families.
Sure.
And it's actually a lot of fun. You know, I mean, you really get to know your friends, you know, under stressful times, under fun times, you know, nights drinking by the campfire, you know, all those things is when you really get to know someone. So
Sure.
It's
always
interesting how your camp family just becomes such a different fabric of your quilt. Like, they're just special, right?
Well, we hit you guys up every event, right? Where are we going? You guys
Yes.
are going to be there, right? This and that. And it was like, until we met, now it's every event. We're hanging out and doing something together.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it was 2 years ago, like, knowing each other but not. And once you guys connect those dots, like, all of a sudden it's like, all right, family just got bigger.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So her and I were talking. We're really fortunate. We travel, but it's like we have so many friends, but I don't even want to say friends, like very close friends, family, anywhere in the country we go. And it's like we're on the road so much. Like, you know what I mean? It's actually amazing to know we've got places that are considered home when they're not home, you know? And it's like
Absolutely.
people that know us, and it's like we may not see them for a year, but it's like we're still
in
in
your
contact.
town.
They
We're
see it.
coming.
It's like you go and you see them, and it's like it doesn't matter. It's like you never missed a beat.
Right.
Well, we all could have a very lonely life otherwise,
Yeah.
like one way or another.
Right.
If you're just on the road, you hear about these traveling salesmen that just they travel, and we'll sit there and hear these conversations in the airport of people just forcing conversation just to be able to talk to somebody because they're like, oh, it's my 17th trip this week and this and that, and it's like we all do it, but that's why I joke. I'm like, okay, so where did you have to, like, our ongoing thing is we're like, oh, we have to go do this. I'm like, we get to.
You get
Right.
to,
Like,
absolutely.
where did you have to or get to go this week, and what did you get to do? Because when we all look back, I mean, each and every one of us sitting right here, we all recognize it, and we're all very fortunate. We don't just take for granted what we have.
Absolutely.
But it does blow my mind for how much we travel and what we do, like how close everybody still is.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, Billy and I, we born and raised in the same town. We live there our whole lives. Our friends and the people we spend time with, nobody lives there. They live in different states and cities. And we are on the road together, just the two of us, alone. Like, we just travel alone, but we know wherever we're going. Like, we come here, we have a million friends here. We don't need to bring friends from town to come down
We're
here.
carnies, let's be real.
Okay, you
Same
know
with
what?
us, though. It's like we were here.
Power
and,
sports carnies.
You know, we hit Matt up, and like you know, Sunday night we're gonna go out to eat with him and his wife. You know, and it's like it's just one of those where it's like we're seeing who's where, and it's like so it's her and I traveling, but we know at the end of the day, like we've got people we're gonna go see or hang out with, and
like what's funny for me too is like same thing, but even expand it even more. Like a good friend of mine, Spanish racer, came over to the United States and introduced himself to me as like, yeah, I want to race this type of racing. He raced Rally Raid, and I was like, bitchin', here, talk to these guys. You can rent this car. And he came and did it. So we became first just acquaintances, right? And then I was over in Spain and just did a post, and he texted me. He goes, dude, you're like an hour from me. I'm coming to get you. And I'm like, I barely knew this guy. I'm like, okay. So he came and grabbed me and my wife and took us all around this one area of Spain. It was an amazing day trip. And, after that, like, we became pretty good friends, right? And he's come and stayed with me and so on and so forth. So even in foreign countries, you're like off-roader connection.
Proximity.
Boom, right?
Like just being in proximity,
yeah.
it builds friendship, especially like when you say, not like I got this, and this. When you do those spontaneous things and you build those because he reached out, which is half it, and then you accept it because so many people have so many different things, but we're all like-minded. So it's just like, yes, adventure, let's go. And it's crazy how that builds.
Well, that was last year. We all talk, and it's like we were talking. It's like we need to take our RV up to your property and come hang out for 4 or 5 days. Like, it just needs to happen. Yes. But it's like last year at the beginning of the year, she goes, we're going to start taking everybody up on their offers. We had an offer to go to Pastrana Land. It was an open invite. We decided to go. Like we went to the Torrances in Texas. Like, we've had all these friends that have extended invites for years, and everybody goes, we'll it's a great idea in theory. But we all know we get busy and it never happens. We're like, no, we're going to make it a point to start making this happen.
Right.
I love that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why we're going to dinner on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately.
In 20 years, you don't want to look back and be like,
you're not going to dinner. You're going to the best sushi you're ever going to have in your life. Let's be clear, people.
I've seen Matt's posts. He's got, like, sometimes a chef preparing things for him. I'm like, damn, this looks good.
I said, I've had the sushi out on the lake bed, and I know how good it was out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Stuff it should not be. It's kind of like, the fish tacos out on the lake bed when everyone's like, wait, what? Is this a sick joke? No, really, they're good? Oh, dude.
Well, it's funny because the Deckman, who's one of the chefs that we're really good friends with, that's his thing. His thing is, like, he's an off-roader, and the first trip that we did, we were like 150 miles, in the middle of the Baja Peninsula, and he goes, do you want some oysters? I'm like, Are you serious?
Yeah,
he goes,
joke. Where's the punchline?
He goes, yeah, I have. He goes, I have some oysters and champagne. And I'm like, you have oysters and champagne in your cooler? He goes, yeah. And he busts it out.
Wait, what?
He busts it out, and we had, oysters and champagne in the middle of the trail in Baja. And I'm like, I love this guy.
Right.
Because this guy is my new best friend. But, that's a fun thing to do, is to pack it in and take whatever good food you have or good drink you have out into these remote spots and, enjoy it in nature. It's the best place to do it because you're, like, wrapped in the beauty of nature in some remote spot that you can only get to by really off-roading. Like, there's some spots, like, sure, if you were really dedicated, on a mountain bike or climber or hiker, you could get there, but you couldn't bring all this stuff in.
Right. You couldn't have that meal under the stars with a fire
we all
or
don't
whatever
have
it is.
helicopters, right? Is what he's saying.
Right.
Well, yeah, that would be cheating. You wouldn't enjoy the journey as much. But regardless, that's Deckman's thing. It's awesome. He has an awesome restaurant down in Guadalupe Valley.
No, literally, Britt and I, we need to pick the weekend. We so want to go down there.
Well, after the wine, I will go down
that wine was
just
amazing.
to have a glass of wine.
It ruins you. It's like literally like I remember the first experience I had down at his restaurant. I'm like, why don't we have this in America? And, it's for a lot of reasons, but the biggest one is, they have the food sources that they have right now in Baja and the wine, and now they're getting beer and starting to get more mezcal and tequila even in Baja. It's awesome. I can't recommend it higher, but you're gonna have some of the best food of your life down at Deckman's.
One thing you're not gonna.
I will say Sunday night. Yeah. we're gonna pick a weekend. We're gonna look at it. Might be next year. We're gonna pick a weekend and just all of us just plan it.
Yeah, I'm planning on doing a little decompression after the California 300. So I probably I'll probably head there, a week or two after, and go down for the weekend.
That's your getaway time.
Christmas in Mexico is what he's saying.
Christmas in Mexico. Britt and I are down for that.
The rad thing is in that area, it's like you can ride your UTV.
Right.
And that's kind of a better way to get around down there because it's all dirt roads. So we go down and we'll ride trails and go to a winery and then go to a restaurant. And then, it's a tough day,
Right. Yep. But it also helps you clear your mind.
Yeah.
And that's what you live for. Like that is, you do all this work, all this hard work, behind the scenes to make all these things happen. And you're like, when this is done, this is my reward.
Well, plus, the thing we did a trip a few years ago for Polaris, and it was a father and son trip, and we took Chad Ragland and Larry Ragland, and Bryce and Steve Menzies, and then RJ and his dad. All those guys had been up and down that peninsula racing, but they had never stopped to smell the roses.
Yep,
and
actually experienced it.
Yeah, and that's what this trip was about. And it was really funny because I think it was Larry. Larry goes, "Hey, have you ever been to the Cheese Cave?" And I'm like, "The Cheese Cave? What are you talking about?" He goes, "Yeah, there's a cheese cave in Ojos Negros." And I'm like, "There's no way there's a cheese cave in Ojos Negros, right?"
Right.
I've driven by it 150 times.
Never
right?
knew it was there.
Never knew it was there. And there was a sign. I'm like, Cava de Queso, what's that? Whatever. We're on our way down here. We got to go. We got to go. We got to go. Everybody's hustling.
Here you were thinking that you were going to teach them something, and they taught you something.
So we go to this cheese cave, and it's incredible. It's a 100-year-old cheese cave that this Italian family had moved to that area of Baja, and they started making cheese, and it's literally like the best cheese in Mexico.
Wow.
Right? And they age it down in their cave, but they also have a restaurant, and literally all.
So it's still an active cheese cave right now.
You can go there right now, right? And it's in Ojos Negros. It's pretty easy to get to, but you can launch from Horsepower Ranch and do about a 20-mile off-road ride into it. Pretty mellow ride. They have an amazing restaurant with really fresh, good food.
I don't mean to interrupt because I want to go back to this, but how awesome is this? Just watching everybody walk away.
Carrying out shots,
3-4 people with boxes over their shoulders.
It's awesome.
The wife's pitched in, too.
Yeah, no,
the wife's
they've got
totally
the kid with the wagon. They're building their entire car today.
Yes.
Today.
Yeah.
All right,
Yep.
anyway, so cheese, but, I love seeing that.
But there's places like that, back to what we were saying earlier, there's places like that all over Baja. There's places like that all over America, and you just got to do a little bit of work to get there and have that experience.
Well, it's like Britt and I, when we travel, it's like we always go and we'll go and we immediately ask bartenders or whatever. Okay, you're local. Where do you go? Where we don't care about the tourist stuff. Where do you go to drink? Where do you go to eat? What should we see? You know?
Right.
Exactly.
Yep.
For sure.
So,
and I think having friends all over the place. We went out to Utah, and Twitchell took us to the most amazing slot canyon that nobody was at. It's not something that's blown up on Instagram.
Yeah, because I was supposed to go,
That's
remember.
right.
And, somebody never gave me a time, but it's fine.
Yeah, there was about 10 people that didn't get the time.
So 3.5 hours in, and Sand Sports is actually shut down 20 minutes ago. So we're going to have to call it a show, Brittney Lynn.
Oh, I got the middle name.
The middle name.
That was awesome. Thanks for inviting me.
That's what I love. This is even Pete peeks in and he's like, "Yeah, this is an annual thing now because it's always supposed to be an hour and a half, and 3.5 hours later we're still doing radio." So,
but hey, I think at some point, next year, what you should do is when you see somebody walk by with a big box like that, get an interview. Hey, can we ask you? Yeah. And I actually had somebody real quick. They were like, "Why do people buy things here?" I'm like, because this is the place to buy it.
This is the only time you can get it. Otherwise, it's 8 weeks later next season.
But you buy, and a lot of it is you buy a new razor, you buy a new whatever you're buying. People want to come here. They physically want it now.
Right.
And they want to build it. They want to know
excited.
That. Right.
Absolutely.
And I love it. I love seeing literally just carts and cages and doors, wheels and tires all
people are
going
getting
out.
innovative with the way they carry things out too. It's
totally.
It's funny.
There's a game plan before they show up. They go pull cash out of the bank.
Oh, they have a list.
Yeah, no, it is. But I think the other reason is because it is kickoff. They don't want to buy something too soon because everybody releases so many products here that they're like, I got to go walk it and make sure I didn't miss something, or I'm making. So they've already online, and this is the perfect.
Yeah, they're
example.
like the night crawlers. Pretty soon there's going to be people here with flashlights.
They're the beer fairies.
That could be a whole new thing, right?
I will night crawl.
Flash sale, 3 a.m.
I know a guy. For $20, I'll night
we've
crawl
all night
for you.
crawled at Sand Sports, but it wasn't to buy. It was crawling back to our bed,
slithering
ding,
back.
ding, 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 right here.
All right.
Stay tuned for part 2.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys. Signing off here
you.
from Sand Sports on the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittney Cardone. When it's time to replace the tires on your vehicle, General Tire delivers the tires you need for both your next big adventure and your daily commute. Whether you need all-season traction, lasting treadwear, or a quiet drive, General Tires are designed to deliver whatever life brings your way. From all-season ultra-high-performance tires for passenger cars and crossovers to extreme all-season mud terrain and tires for light trucks and SUVs, General Tire delivers great performance. To find your ideal tire, visit GeneralTire.com. General Tire, official tire of the Jim Beaver Show. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle. Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Conditions off the pavement are always changing, so why settle for a light bar that just turns on and off? The Rigid Adapt is a revolutionary new light bar that will automatically select from 8 beam patterns that range from a widespread 90-degree flood to a 15-degree spot based on your vehicle's speed. Try that with your knockoff light bar. A dash-mounted controller allows the user to toggle between adaptive mode, beam patterns, and RGBW accent lighting. With Adapt, it's easier than ever to own the night.
Thanks for listening to the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittney Cardone. Available online on SiriusXM, on AM/FM networks across the U.S., and internationally on the American Forces Network. Head to JimBeaver15.com for all the details. All right, it's been a long show. We're borderline 4 hours at this point. So, I'm going to keep it short and sweet right here. Thanks to all you guys, if you are still here, for tuning in through this. And give me a follow. It's at JimBeaver15. Britt is at BCardone15. Lots of fun stuff coming up. We're going to be live from Off-Road Expo with General Tire, Jet Ski World Finals. We got Super Motocross launch coming up. In addition to that, we've got a show at Kawasaki at the California 300. I'll be hosting that live stream. Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame, SEMA. Man, UTV Takeover. Forgot about that one. I mean, we got so much stuff coming at you. It is going to be one hell of an October into November. But thank you guys for tuning in. Big thanks to Pro Armor, our partners at Pro Armor, for making this show happen. Our good friends at General Tire, obviously the title sponsor of the show. Kawasaki, Rigid Industries, Vision Wheel, Gibson Exhaust, GSP XTV Axles, friends at iRacing. Everybody that makes this show happen, that, behind the scenes, Dirtfish. It's been crazy. It's been awesome. I'm having a whole hell of a lot of fun in life. And, and thank you guys for continuing to support the show. Please, if you haven't already, go over to Apple Podcasts, hit the subscribe button, and leave a rating, man. Let us know what you think of the show. Also, big show coming up, the one from Crandon. We got video of that whole shenanigans with Keegan Kincaid, Brittney, myself, RJ Anderson, and Tito. That's dropping this week as well. Man, all of our social channels are firing. I don't know. Blessed. And thank you guys. Let us know what you think of the show. And we'll see you next time right here on the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittney Cardone. That's a wrap for this edition of the General Tire Jim Beaver Show with Brittney Cardone. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and follow Jim Beaver 15, BCardone15, and Jim Beaver Show on social media. We're also on the web. Hit us up at JimBeaver15.com for all the latest. We'll see you next time.